Athletic, right here on The Fan.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Central Ohio Contractors and Homeowners 3D Cabinetry is your go-to for fast, hassle-free service from order to install. 3D Cabinetry delivers fully assembled all-wood affordable cabinets. Visit 3dcabinetry.net today for your free consultation. That's 3dcabinetry.net.
Newman Roofing is proud to sponsor the Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat fan drive. Help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. Purchase new box fans and take them to the nearest Franklin County fire station or buy online. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
Rothman Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Like trying to snap a picture of Bigfoot. Nobody has ever witnessed Maddie eating a carb. This is Rothman and Ice.
That it is. Welcome back in. Austin Ward in the house today for AR. Going to use right now the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Bring on one of the best guys to cover the National Hockey League. Dom was shooting for the Athletic National NHL writer. Dom, how you doing, my man?
I am doing pretty great. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks so much for your time. I know you've been really busy with everything happening around the hockey world. Our Jackets been making some noise this week, been throwing out some money to some guys. One guy I wanted to ask you about is Provorov and the deal that the Jackets hit him with. 7 years, $59.5 million. Yeah, your thoughts on the business that those parties cooked up together?
I don't love it. I think a lot of Columbus fans are not thrilled about what I said about the deal, which I think is fair. The thing with Provorov is his underlying numbers aren't the best when he's out there. The Jackets do get outshot, outchanced, outscored a fair bit. With that being said, I think there's value in the minutes that he does eat. He makes life easier for the third pair. He is able to play a lot, and I think there is merit to him stabilizing the team's top 4, because there's been a lot of moments over the last few years where they put someone who doesn't fit there and it hasn't worked out, and Provorov at least works there, even if it's not as effective as maybe a stronger top 4 defenseman. Having said all that, I think $8.5 million is just way too much for his age 30 season to be essentially a 3 or 4 defenseman when he's being paid probably top pair money.
Tom, I was reading your best and worst deals story there on The Athletic. It's really good. It's really detailed. And you had written about Provorov before, but you compared it with what was able to get done with Gavrikov elsewhere, and that's what seemed to really. It's not that I don't think that you believe that Provorov is bringing value to the Jackets or that he's still not a good player at this point, but it's like comparing to the market. It seems like your view is that they just had to overpay here. Or did overpay? Yeah.
I think they did overpay. There's a chance that Provorov comes into his own in his 30s. I think one of his best comparables from back in the day is Francois Beauchemin, who was always a stabilizing force in top 4, but became sort of like a really good number 2 defenseman in terms of defense upside, eating minutes back in the day. And if Provorov can be that, I think you can stomach the overpay, and it won't be that bad. It's just a bit odd when you see someone like Gavrikov, the top guy for defenseman on free agency, go for $1.5 million less. And I think Provorov's a decent player. He will bring value to the Jets. It's just compared to what the Rangers got for Gavrikov, it's definitely a bit much.
Dom, I know one guy that Jacket fans are very excited about to see progress and just get better, hopefully in years and years to come, is Adam Fantilli. I was just curious your thoughts on the player that we saw last year, but from your perspective on the outside looking in, if you will, from Columbus, the growth from Adam Fantilli. Year before had that injury, freakish injury that took him off the ice for a bit there, but last year it seemed like it really clicked for him. What did you see from his game, and what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, down the stretch, I thought he was amazing and see the upside for him to be a potential top-line center. Early on in the season, though, I think he suffered from a bit of a sophomore slump. He was a bit disappointing. Defensively, like a lot of young players, it just wasn't there for him yet. I think those problems still happened a bit even over the second half, but in the second half, especially once he went up and played with Marchenko when Monahan was out, he was lights out. He was very productive, and you can see the kind of talent that he can have going forward. He just needs to clean up things a bit defensively, have the puck more, and be able to show that offensive upside more often. And I think he can be a legitimate star in this league and the kind of first-line center the Jackets have wanted for forever, basically.
Dom, it seemed to me to shift gears out of Columbus with Mitch Marner in the Leafs is like, well, that's just he's going to begin his career there. He's going to end it there. And things fell apart. There's a lot of reasons for that, I guess. But what would you describe your level of surprise at for Marner parting ways and that he winds up in Vegas?
I don't think it's that surprising. The writing has been on the wall with that for the last month or so. And in terms of going to Vegas, for Marner himself, it seemed like he would play out his contract and the fact he wouldn't negotiate during season, that he wouldn't waive his no trade clause, but still not sign a deal. It felt like he was always going to go to free agency and use his no movement clause to his advantage, and that's his right as a UFA. And I'm a bit surprised just because he is a Toronto-born player, and you'd think that growing up with the Leafs, he'd want to stay here and build his legacy and have his number retired, maybe even have a statue outside the arena. But the allure of Vegas is obvious given the team that they've built, that they've won a cup 3 years ago, and I understand the decision he made, but it is definitely a little strange for a homegrown player to not want to go the distance here.
Dom, what's your thoughts on the Jackets and how they're approaching the goaltending spot moving forward with Elvis and where he's been the last few years? Jet Greaves came in and really provided some confidence to the fan base and the team with what he was able to do. Just your thoughts on how Don Waddell and that crew over there are going about it in net.
I don't mind the Tarasov trade because I really liked Jet Greaves last year. Every time he started, it felt like the team played a lot better in front of him, and he was able to save a lot more than some of Columbus' other options. I think having him and Elvis do a 1A, 1B thing and allow Greaves to work his way up to getting more starts is probably the best way forward, because obviously a small sample, and with goalies you never really know, but he looked like someone who could be the guy last year, and I think if they gave him more starts, they probably would have been close to the playoffs. He was that good last year.
Give me some hope for the Blue Jackets next year, because I've felt the pieces are starting to come into place with the roster and signings and all that right now, and I know it's still early. You got camp like a month and a half away, 2 months away, but it feels like they took a big step forward last year. It was exciting, and I viewed that as a bonus that they were even on the fringe of playoff contention. Do you, if I made you say right now, do you believe that Columbus can get back into the postseason this season?
I think they can. I think it's a lot more believable than it would have been to start last year. A lot of things had to go right, and maybe some people come down to earth a bit, but they have such an exciting young team developing. With Provorov and Fabro, they have finally a solidified top four on the back end. If Fantilli can take that star leap and be like an 80-point forward, Monahan plays like he does last year, Marchenko looks like a very, very good player for them. I think when you start seeing the core progress like that and maybe some of the depth they starting to build up front, it's easy to like what Columbus is doing and believe that last year was no fluke. Because when we've seen teams projected for low 70s, high 60 points for the season and they take a leap like Columbus did last year, that's unexpected. Usually it's the real deal. I think we saw that with Colorado before they became a contender. They were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league, and they made the playoffs that year. They were a 90-point team. I don't think Columbus is on that level because they don't have a McKinnon or a McCarr or anything like that, but it does give hope when you see such dramatic progress happen almost overnight. And I don't know if they'll be a playoff team, but I think they'll definitely be in the mix.
We'll get you out of here on this one. I want to ask you about the back-to-back champs in the Florida Panthers and your thoughts on, honestly, one, it's a two-parter here. Their approach in season last year to bring in a couple vets to what seemed to put them over the top, but also their offseason so far and their chances of three-peating, if you will. Just your vibe on the Florida Panthers and what they've been able to do the last couple of years going into another year.
I think they're the best run team in hockey. Obviously, things are a little easier because of the no state tax advantage, but there are teams like Seattle, Nashville that have that same advantage and that can't use it the way Florida does. And I think they should be commended for the kind of front office they have to recognize the right players to go for, recognize the right amount to pay them. And they've built an unbelievable hockey team. The way they were able to add Marchand and Jones in season and retain Marchand, retain Bennett, retain Ekblad in free agency. Usually in a cap world, the best teams get worse. And Florida is almost going to be the exact same team we saw win last year. And I think they have a really, really strong chance to three-peat given how it doesn't seem like the contenders around them are on their level anymore.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Don, we appreciate your time. You do an awesome job covering the league, and we'll be following everything you write over at The Athletic. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime. Don was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We won't be here tomorrow, so we're going to slide overs and unders over to today and round out the first hour next with TLC. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
And I'm his very overpaid celebrity endorser, Common Man. Bob, I heard somewhere, actually from you many, many times, that Worthington Jewelers is where Columbus gets engaged.
It's too bad you and Timmy can't engage the audience.
Good zing, Bob.
If you're thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
At QC Kinetics, we're all about keeping you in the game, helping you get lasting relief from joint pain. That's why we're excited to announce that QC Kinetics is now partnering with the National Pickleball League. So many of our satisfied patients are avid pickleball players, and they're thrilled with how we've helped them get back on the court. As lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League, we're committed to help pickleball fans of all ages with the latest, most advanced regenerative cell treatments. These treatments use your body's own healing power, revitalizing and restoring damaged joint tissue the natural way, with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Whether you're a pickleball fanatic or enjoy golf or running or tennis, stay in the game with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, proud to promote active, pain-free living as a lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron, guess what we're getting ready to celebrate?
America's birthday?
That's right. How did you guess?
Well, you're dressed like Yankee Doodle, and you're wearing a tri-corner hat, and you've got a snare drum.
Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. They can really go. Get Eco. For your Cinco. Fix in a blinko. You'll think-o. Hooray. Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. You'll be cool like snow. Get Eco. Like an ice Rico. Puerto Rico. Get Eco today. What do you think?
Jerry, are you suggesting that Puerto Rico become the 51st state?
I could invent a brand new 51-star flag.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Have a safe 4th of July, everyone.
Back to Hollywood Casino Columbus and the ESPN Bet Sportsbook for an all-star game celebration and watch party. When? Tuesday, July 15th. Compete in our home run derby at 7 o'clock for a chance to win an incredible experience at an upcoming Reds game, plus a $250 gift card. So join On the Money's Dave Biddle and me, Scotty Vegas. Compete to win at 7 and enjoy the all-star game at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at 8. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello, Big Voice Guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fan's YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Berm's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
SoFi Personal Loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right, pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi Personal Loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply, NMLS 696891.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice presents Overs and Unders.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
All right, welcome back in. Austin Ward in the house today for AR TLC. What do you got cooked up today in your Jordan jersey, my guy?
Here's what I got for you.
You have an ice cream sandwich in your left hand as you're doing this?
Yeah.
Really?
Multitasking.
Now, you know how I feel about eating in between commercial breaks and what that can do to you as you start to talk.
Oh, man.
So we'll see if I choke in the middle of talking.
Yeah, so let's just try doing over-unders with the ice cream sandwich going
Why
down.
not?
I think that's what a Tim Hall special, right? Timmy Hall bringing ice cream in for the gang
He
today.
did.
Yeah.
And so I got a Heath Bar Klondike.
That's a win.
There you
Yeah.
Yeah, you're winning.
Yeah, there you go.
Over.
There you go. How many plates of food at the 4th of July get-together? Now I know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to Matty Ice and Mr. Awaken 180. So I'm setting the over-under at only 1.5.
Oh, I can get to 2 easy. You can go heavy protein on this thing. Yeah, because the thing for me is I love a good cookout spread.
Yeah.
Heavy on the pasta salad, heavy on the burgers, dogs, all of those good things. So I can easily get to 2 plates. So I'm going to go over 1.5.
You can, but will you?
Yes, I will.
okay.
He will.
I will.
Oh, he's guaranteeing.
Some barbecue chicken alert, as Shaq would say. Yeah, all of that, man. I'm in.
Yeah, mine is, I have to go the opposite of Maddie, which is I'm under, but the temptation will definitely be over. But I gotta balance it out. So we got, I would rather have an extra morning Bloody Mary than a second plate of food.
There you go. Okay.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
And hey, these are the habits that Awaken 180 have taught me. I'm sticking with it all weekend. But the drinking is probably going to be beyond what they recommend.
There you go. So it'll all balance out.
Yeah, that's right.
So how many liters goes with that? How late will you go to bed tomorrow night? I believe the fireworks usually go off at 10, at least in my neck of the woods. So over under midnight.
Tomorrow night, so Friday night, we'll have SmackDown, which will be taped.
I already know the
definitely.
spoilers.
I don't. So
Okay,
don't tell
I'm
me
not
anything.
telling you. Not
Thank
telling
you.
you.
You're a good man. Will I see?
I think you're going to like it, though.
Will I see past midnight tomorrow? I don't think I will. No, I think I'm going to get a nice night of sleep. Probably about 10:30, 11 is usually when I like to shut it down.
Ooh, jeez, now I know why those kids at the grocery store call you sir.
So I'm going to go. I'm going to go under.
I can't sleep before the Marysville Marathon. That's my favorite golf outing of the year with my guys. And I want to get sleep. I always intend to get sleep, but I'm so excited and or stressed out about who's going to pull out of the field and make me rearrange all the tee times and the matchups that I can't sleep. But it's like, because I got to be out there at 7 a.m. to get ready for the card draw and make sure that the Jell-O shots are ready to flow.
It's a full day for you.
It's a full day for me, and that's the excitement keeps me from sleeping. So I might be in bed before midnight, but I won't be asleep.
Over under, how many letters in Dom Luszczyszyn's last name? 9.5.
Oh, I think it's over. Slightly.
When I was reading it, it felt like it was 50 letters, and I was where is the vowel? Where is it?
I think it's over. What is it, TLC?
It's 11. It's over.
It's 11. Yeah, it's LUSZZYSZYN.
You did that off of memory.
No, I'm looking at it right now.
I thought you were looking at me.
No, I'm looking at it right now.
No.
But thanks for look. I should have took the credit, but I'm going to be honest. Just like yesterday, I hopped on Common Man and Timmy with Timmy and Nicole, and I had to throw it out there that I've never seen a Rocky movie, nor do I want to watch a Rocky movie, and people were absolutely cooking me. And I said, look, I'm underneath the basket. Come dunk on me. I know this is a bad take.
Maddie,
Not a popular take.
I've never seen one either.
Really?
No.
You've never seen a Rocky? Good. That makes me feel so much better.
We're rocking it.
There we go.
This is what happens when Rothman's not here.
He would be losing his mind right now. He's already heard this from me for years, so he's kind of numb to it. But to hear it from you,
I got your back,
he may
baby.
fall to his knees after hearing you say
I'm
that.
here for
I've
that.
seen the first one, so I know that his turtles are named Cuff and Link, but I haven't seen anything past the first. I haven't seen the Creed movies either.
Oh, those are good, by the way. Shout out to Michael B.
So
Jordan.
you just skipped to
He doesn't
7, 8,
care
and
about
9.
doesn't care about the backstory.
No, had to support Michael B. Jordan. That's what I was doing.
The Twins and the Marlins are the only MLB game playing right now. How many Marlins can you name over under a half?
Well, you made it easy for me because the only guy I know is Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah.
He hasn't been traded yet, right?
Not yet.
I think I can give you another one because don't they have a guy on their team that just hit for the cycle last year? Xavier something? Or am I making that up? That's somewhere floating around in my brain that has
Xavier Edwards?
Did he hit for the cycle last year?
Can't promise it, but I can promise there is a Xavier Edwards who plays third base.
But that's all I got is one, and it's Sandy Alcantara.
Under. I don't know. Single. I don't even know if I'm supposed to call them the Miami Marlins or the Florida Marlins. I don't know.
Exactly. I think Tim Hall was giving everybody a trivia question around here yesterday of who is their manager, and I couldn't even do it.
Ooh. No. Not at all. They had Skip Schumacher in there.
Yeah, for only
but
like
he's
2
been
years.
gone. I don't even know. I have no idea.
Clayton McCullough?
No clue.
Ring a bell?
No, that's not a real person.
Yeah.
No clue.
Sure. All right, hey, your Reds escaped danger on the sweep.
Yes.
With a massive Christian Encarnacion Strand grand slam. And you got 3 with the Phillies starting tomorrow. You got the day off. So July 4th, 5th, and 6th. Also 3 big days for me because I think Notre Dame's going to get receiver those 3 days. We'll see. Caden Finley, come on down. How many are you taking from the Phillies?
Is it a requirement for producers at this station to like Notre Dame?
And also go to Ohio State. It's weird, right? These guys go to Ohio State, but they're Notre Dame fans.
I told you, I will never consider Ohio State a family environment until my debt is paid off.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair.
What do you got, A-Dub, on this one?
I don't know. I can't get to the bottom of it.
Run it by me again. Look.
You got 3 with the Phillies.
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow.
How many are we getting?
Betting on the Reds is like
it's a mess.
It's so futile.
Yeah.
I would have to. I think they're going to get swept. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's usually stuff I say. They've given me some type of optimism.
You got Abbott tomorrow.
Right. That's win day, or has been win day for the Reds with how great he has been. But we are talking about one of the best teams in the National League, and they have been for a long time.
I'd love to see the Reds get some momentum going and sustain it.
Yes.
But I can't buy it.
Oh, and then Chase Burns is on Sunday.
He's licking his wounds coming into this one.
Crash and Burns is pitching.
Oh, man. Phillies have
It's a pretty fun first inning the other night.
we were hyping up AR and I like over 6.5 Ks then against the Red Sox. I got an alert like this dude's out of the game in the first inning.
Out of the first out.
As TLC said, he crashed and burned. That's for sure. Phillies have the third best record in the National League. I think we get one. I think it's Abbott Day.
All right.
I think it's
Lodolo versus Ranger Suarez on Saturday. That could go either way.
The Phillies are just nasty, man. Like their rotation is just absolutely.
That's what happens when you spend money.
Right. In a big market. They got the money to do it. That's for sure. Coming up, one SEC coach says he'll take this guy over Arch Manning. Some Arch Manning clapbacks out there in the streets right now, Austin, where we'll talk about it next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Question from a listener. Do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
The big one is back. The Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals presented by PPG. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 of the nation's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Don't miss Good Guys autocross racing action. A tire-smoking burnout competition. A pro street takeover. Earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest. Meet the top builders in the industry and more. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Ready for the 4th? I know I'm going to be enjoying steaks, ribs, maybe a cold soda pop or two, but guess what? It's the same tasty stuff I enjoyed while dropping 75 pounds with Awaken 180. That's the beauty of this program. It's doable, no medications, no starvation, just great food while I dropped an average of 4 to 5 pounds every week. Make this summer your best yet. Drop the weight while keeping the flavor. Celebrate freedom from dieting stress. You can visit awaken180weightloss.com.
Looking to launch a career in the skilled trades but don't know where to begin? Part-time service in the Ohio Army National Guard can help. You can kickstart your career by enlisting in one of our many trades-based jobs. Get paid to learn these skills and gain on-the-job training when you report to your unit 1 weekend a month or 2 weeks in the summer. To learn how the Guard can pay for your civilian trade certification, visit nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. The Cleveland Guardians announced this morning that Major League Baseball has placed pitcher Luis Ortiz on leave due to an ongoing investigation. We now know that investigation is into gambling activities. Ortiz was supposed to start tonight for Cleveland when they wrap up their series with the Cubs in Wrigley Field at 8:05. Joey Cantillo will now get the start. Cade Horton goes for Chicago. Travel day for the Cincinnati Reds. They wrapped up their series with the Boston Red Sox last night. They'll play a 4th of July afternoon game in Philly against the Phillies tomorrow at 1:05. The Columbus Clippers up in Toledo this afternoon taking on the Mud Hens at 4:05. Former Blue Jackets forward Trey Fix-Wolanski has signed a 1-year, 2-way deal with the New York Rangers. This one's sponsored by RCD RV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, Pataskala, and online at rcdrv.com.
Matty promises he'll continue to do the show even if he wins the lottery. If only we believed him. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice, TLC, in the building with you. Our guy Austin Ward in the house today, filling in for AR. You know, A-Dub, you love a good cookout, man.
Oh, yeah.
The music, and I heard Beamer's commercial in the break talking steak and ribs, and I haven't had a good rib in a long time. What type of barbecue sauce guy are you? Because I know there's so many different lanes you can go into when we talk barbecue sauce. For you, is it sweet? Is it spicy? You know, the Kansas City style. That's how, like, where are you at with a good barbecue sauce?
I want that heat.
Okay.
I want to feel it.
Okay, you want your nose to run.
I want it
a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. If I don't get that heat, a little bit of vinegar, maybe some Carolina style.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily the gold. You get that nice little white barbecue sauce.
Okay.
Then you're cooking.
Yeah.
Back when I was living in Tennessee, and there were, a few too many trips over to Memphis, they're like, well, you don't want sauce on your ribs. You get some of the dry rub on there, and that should be all you need. It's like thinking about Rendezvous. And they were right. If you cook it right with the dry rub, you don't even need that sauce. So
okay.
I can take it pretty much any way you want to cook it as long as it's done right.
Gotcha. No, I hear that. That's for sure. TLC, you into the barbecue sauces? Are you a sauce guy, first of all?
Am I a sauce guy?
Yeah, because I know one of my
Not
best
eating
friends.
naked wings, no.
One of my best friends is like that. Like on his burgers, his chicken fingers, like nothing. Like he puts no sauce on anything.
Actually, I do know someone who does like to have like the wings just as is, and it's not as bad as you'd think. You think like, oh, this is really boring. It tastes good.
Sometimes I do that and get the sauce on the side.
I mean,
but I still have to have a sauce.
I'm not the right person to ask this question because I don't understand the whole like regional barbecue thing. Like, are they really all that different?
Oh, no. TLC, come on.
They're different.
And I lived in St. Louis, and St. Louis definitely prides itself on its barbecue, but I didn't go, oh, wow, this is so different from city X, Y, or Z.
It's tough.
And I've been to Texas, too.
It's a tough
And,
take.
it was all good, but, like, here's what I would need. I would literally need it to be on 2 different plates right next to each other to be able to taste the difference.
Let's do it.
Oh, I'm more than down.
We got all afternoon.
Yeah, no doubt.
Heck yeah.
There's a difference.
I got nothing to do tomorrow, so let's go.
That's the best way that you could possibly celebrate America is just getting a sampling of all the different kinds of barbecue.
I'm going to do that next year.
There have been a handful of times in my life where I've eaten something and said this is the best that I've ever had.
Yeah.
going to Kansas City, that happened to me a couple times. Like, this is the best barbecue sauce, best burn-ins, best pulled pork I've ever had. It's what they do. It hits different. It really does.
I've been to Q39 out there.
Yeah, you know what time it is.
I've never heard anybody say that about St. Louis. I don't know, this is news to me. They got toasted ravioli, and that's it.
Toasted ravioli. They got. Oh, that reminds me. I got to text Pat Murphy because I'm co-hosting with him on Saturday. But I mean, I literally needed to be right next to each other so I can taste the difference. Because when I was in Kansas City, I had barbecue, but I wasn't like, oh, I can taste the notes of X, Y, or Z. Like, no, it tastes good. It's that right. I'm glad I went.
You mentioned that you'll be hosting with Pat Murphy. Let the folks know when and where that will be.
10 to 1 Saturday morning. If you're driving around, if you're not, then catch us on YouTube.
There you go. And A-Dub, I know outside of you filling in, you and Berm have been doing some good things. The Beat, let the folks know about that, sir.
Yeah, anywhere on 97.1's YouTube, 10 TV, 10 TV Plus. Anywhere you download podcasts, you can get the Austin and Berm Show. There's also going to be, I promise, some talking stuff, recruiting episodes from Berm this weekend. 1, maybe 2. I don't know. It's possible. Might already be recorded. I don't know. Hey. Who can say? Not me. But you can keep an eye out for all that. We're going to be ramping that up. The snap judgments. There's not a lot to react to really in the summer, but we'll have Big Ten Media Days in 3 weeks. We'll be out there for that, and then training camp starts on the 31st. So there'll be a couple episodes coming every single day once we get to that point. But you did not say what sauce you wanted, Maddie.
Oh, man. I've usually fallen the sweet barbecue sauce realm for me. Like when I go to City Barbecue, I do the sweet barbecue sauce a lot. The vinegar-based stuff is taking me a little bit of time to get used to.
Sure.
So I'm kind of like an old-school barbecue sauce guy, if you will. Like I remember as a kid, just Sweet Baby Ray's all day and tomorrow. Ooh. Like that was it for me. And then I went down to Cincinnati years and years ago, and for the first time, I did the Montgomery Inn experience. It was a little bit of a thinner, kind of vinegar-ish barbecue sauce, if you will, which was tremendous. So I love going to the Montgomery Inn and eating some ribs there.
Yeah,
love that stuff. So
you can't go wrong.
No, you cannot go wrong at all. Texas does barbecue very well, and this year they think they're going to be doing quarterbacking very well with Arch Manning under center. But we've reached a point now to where there's some people out there that are like, okay, we like the guy, but maybe we need to slow down the hype train that is out there because the hype train is really rocking and rolling. 2 guys, and you'll hear from one. But one guy we have a quote from, and that's Brian Kelly, head coach for LSU. He said this: now, Manning is extremely talented, but he's got to go do it. And there's going to be a couple of days where it doesn't come out the way he wants it to. How do you bounce back? How do you come back from that? How does it work the next week in your game plan? So there's a lot there. Another quote is, I can see the assessment of Manning. He's an outstanding player, but I'll take the guy that's been in the SEC and seen what it looks like, and he is talking about his guy, Garrett Nussmeier. Before you give your take on this, another guy that has weighed in is the old All-Bowl coach and Steve Spurrier, who said this about last year. And, okay, yeah, you had Quinn Ewers, you had Arch Manning. What was really going on?
I think most people are picking Texas to win the SEC football.
Most
correct?
people are. I think that is going to be the consensus preseason pick.
They've got Arch Manning already winning the Heisman, too. Yep. And my question is, if he was this good, how come they let Quinn Ewers play all the time last year?
Even though he was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's still.
And he was a 7th-round pick.
Yes, exactly.
And Arch is going,
And now they're saying Arch is going to be the first pick. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, you only have to ask the coach Sark. Yeah. How come you played that one instead of this one? Hopefully you'll say because we thought he was better in that one.
Yeah.
But isn't that why you play one guy and not the other? Unless it's a discipline, and there was no discipline or anything.
You were never hesitant about pulling guys.
One guy,
putting the guy best
one
guy
guy
in.
struggling, give the other guy a chance.
Coach Spurrier, I hear what he's saying. One of my rules in fantasy football, A-Dub, is follow the money, right? When it comes to trying to identify guys that are going to get the touches and have the best chance to score touchdowns and all those things, like these owners and GMs are not going to want to sit back and invest in guys that aren't getting the rock. And I don't know if that's exactly what went into the situation with Quinn and Sark and the whole Texas offense and those things. Sark was always, he spoke highly of Quinn Ewers, as you know. And you watch some games with Quinn Ewers, and you're like, man, that's first-round talent. And then you watch some other stuff within that same game, and you'll see seventh-round talent there. I guess what I'm trying to get to is I wouldn't be surprised if some of that hesitation from Sark was rooted in, well, we're paying Quinn some nice coin, and the collectives and all these people that are heavily involved with the football program now. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it did not. What we know now is that Arch is going to have his opportunity to, I don't want to say silence some of the doubters, but maybe silence some of the people that aren't on board with crowning him as the no doubt number one quarterback in the sport next year.
Yeah, I actually appreciate. It's weird that Brian Kelly is one who is speaking out against him, considering that they're in the same conference and he may well have to face Texas at some point to get to a championship. But, Steve Spurrier, there have been other people who have towed that line somewhat cautiously. Some go all the way across, as Spurrier did there, where I felt like there's been a lot of reticence, and criticize isn't the right word, skepticism to, come out and express that about Arch Manning because of the royalty and the last name and the assumption with the recruiting ranking that Arch is going to be great. And you also don't want to come out and be critical of a kid before he's even had a chance to show what he can do. He started a game. He's come off the bench for Texas. You can see that the potential is there. But I find myself on the side that it's like, okay, well, I do want to see him prove it before you're going to talk about him being a Heisman frontrunner, before you're talking about him being a potential number one overall pick next year. What is that based on? His last name only?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying that he can't come in to the Horseshoe late next month and beat one of the most talented defenses in the country. I mean, I'd have to see it to believe it. I consider me on the side of skepticism, and it's not to challenge or provide bulletin board material. I think everyone is going back to his recruiting rankings and, the genetics and the understanding of what he could become. It's not folly to think that he can be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's not that right now.
Yeah.
And we'd have to say the same thing about Julian Sayin or Lincoln Kienholz. They haven't gone out there and proven it yet. So to just make this assumption that it's going to happen or that they're a finished product at the moment,
no.
I'm not there.
We're not even close to him being a finished product. And I think even Arch and the Manning camp would tell us that, because there's a world where we're having a similar conversation next year as far as him being Texas's quarterback. He's got eligibility left outside of this season. You touched on the game next month right here in our backyard. I won't be surprised if that's just an okay game for Arch based on the environment, right? The eyes of the football world are going to be on that game. I think the night game is LSU Clemson or somebody. I can't remember what SEC game or SEC team is going to be playing Clemson in that 7:30 slot. But for Arch, that building is going to be absolutely rocking.
Yeah.
Game day is going to be here. Millions and millions of people are going to be watching. I'm sure the sidelines are going to be loaded with, I don't know, maybe McConaughey and Peyton Manning, and who knows what that's going to look like. But for both quarterbacks in that game, whether it's Julian or Lincoln, and Arch is on that side of things, like that's going to be a body shock moment for those guys, just dealing with that type of adrenaline and dealing with, as you mentioned, the talent that Matt Patricia and the defense are going to be throwing at Arch Manning. Like, he may not be a world beater in game number one, and I think that's okay. And I think it's okay for both parties, whether it's Ohio State's guys or Arch and Texas's side of things, because now you have some wiggle room with this playoff, but these guys have to figure it out. And we saw some of that with Will Howard, right? You go from Kansas State to Ohio State. It takes time to adjust to a new system, all the star talent around you. And Will played a bunch of ball prior to coming to Columbus. And then we saw by the end of the year, the dude was absolutely locked in. And so that game is going to be incredible. But for Arch, I think he's built for this type of stuff, and he can handle the noise similar to what Shedeur Sanders is going to deal with and have to deal with. When you come from that type of bloodline, I do think that gives you an advantage to deal with this era of social media and all these different shows and people just poking at every single thing you do. I don't think he's going to fold because of that, but the inexperience is definitely there. And when you come into the shoe and 100,000 people are yelling and screaming and doing all things, it's just it's a whole new world.
And it's not just that there's going to be 100,000 people there. Caleb Downs is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Davison Igbinosun is going to be there.
Yep.
Sonny Styles is going to be there. Arvell Reese is going to be there. Jermaine Matthews is going to be there.
Dudes.
Edric Houston is going to be there.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia is going to be there. I mean, there's pressure on both sides. This what's so exciting about this being the opener is that these are two teams that just played in the college football playoff semifinal, squaring off in the Horseshoe to kick it off. But for that to be Arch's first true test, you can't. That's as big as it comes. Yeah. So is that going to be his shining moment? I'd say probably not, but he could certainly plant a flag. Maybe I shouldn't say that. he could stamp himself as validating a lot of this offseason hype by coming in and doing that in the horseshoe. I personally don't think that he will, but that doesn't mean by the end of the year he couldn't become that. But to expect that he's going to do that in the shoe at Big Noon next month,
it's a lot to ask.
I don't personally believe it.
The game I was talking about, AW, it'll be Clemson and LSU Saturday, August 30th, 7:30 on ABC. The play at quarterback in the SEC is going to be fun, and I think it has a chance to be high level with Arch Manning and Lenore Sellers and Garrett Nussmeier. I'm big on DJ Lagway down there at Florida. I think with some of the experience he got last year, that can help him. But, yeah, it's going to be absolutely awesome. And like you said, when you can have two of the strongest brands in the sport playing last year for something very meaningful and immediately starting off the next season with those same two teams, it's going to be awesome. Coming up next, we'll do Under Pressure on a Holiday Thursday. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Central Ohio contractors and homeowners. 3D Cabinetry is your go-to for fast, hassle-free service from order to install. 3D Cabinetry delivers fully assembled all-wood affordable cabinets. Visit 3dcabinetry.net today for your free consultation. That's 3dcabinetry.net.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY. And when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. See your Kroger Pharmacy for details.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
This was something of a bittersweet day in Reds baseball back on July 3rd, 1877. The bad news was that the Reds had been forced to suspend operations for 3 weeks. On June 16th of that year, the club went bankrupt. Ownership declared the season over for the Reds. But a couple of weeks later, a new owner stepped up, re-signed the players, and the club resumed play on July 3rd. So baseball was back. Although the team was hardly worth watching, the 1877 Reds only won 15 games. They finished dead last. But at least the Reds were playing again, a second start for the 1877 season on this July 3rd, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy. Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it's important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value, and they have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and obtain superior ongoing education and training. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit ODA.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunny skies in our forecast for today. We'll see afternoon highs getting into the upper 80s with light winds, and a stray shower can't be ruled out. For tonight, mostly clear with lows down into the 60s. And then for Friday, for the 4th of July, we get up into the low 90s. Lots of sunshine and dry conditions with maybe a stray shower or storm out there, but we do stay mainly dry closing out the week. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Under Pressure.
Sponsored by 3D Cabinetry. 3dcabinetry.net, where quality meets affordability.
All right, Austin, let's get after it. Austin Ward in the house today for Anthony Rothman. You want to lead off?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead and cook, my guy.
Fire it away.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
Gold Cup final, Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Since the weekend is already here.
Yep.
You know, it's been a disaster. I've been a U.S. soccer fan for, I can't even call myself a diehard right now because we went to the World Cup in 2014. That was my wife and I's honeymoon. We couldn't wait.
That's awesome.
Got to go do that in Brazil. And it's like just the last 5 years, every bit of momentum has dissipated from that program. And I'm not saying that like a B squad can get it back on Sunday night, but I'm saying the entire team. They haven't won the Gold Cup. They didn't win the last round. Haven't been going through these Champions Cups and all these other nonsense league competitions. They got to win on Sunday. I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
I won't accept it because they have to get, even if you don't have Pulisic or some of the other guys out there on Sunday night, this is the rivalry for the United States. U.S., Mexico with a trophy on the line. And the World Cup is next summer. So win a game of consequence.
Yeah, I love that. It's good stuff. First guy for me this week. I'm going with DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton, your newest Los Angeles Laker, signs a 2-year, $16.5 million deal. Look, when you give yourself your own nickname, which he did, Dominating, you got to show up because he hasn't been showing up for a very long time. He had some good postseason runs with the Phoenix Suns a couple years ago. They go to the finals and all that stuff. He was attached to Chris Paul, as we know, one of the best point guards of his time, of all time. Great lob threat. He did some good things, but for whatever reason, A-Dub, when this dude went to Portland, he just lost the sauce, man. He lost the goods. And now he's in a situation to where you're again attached to one of the best point guards in the sport, and Luka Doncic. LeBron is still there for now. We'll see what that looks like. But they expect to contend. When you have Luka and you have LeBron, you expect to be in the mix. And so they watched the first few days of free agency go by, and they didn't get your Brook Lopez types, your Clint Capellas, and all these guys that Luka probably wants to play with as really good lob threats. But he's going to be now in a pressure-packed situation. You can be out in Portland where people aren't really watching you and not playing well. Now you come into that LA spotlight where you know there's going to be so many nationally televised games, and when those games even aren't national televised, people are going to be watching the Los Angeles Lakers. So I just think he is in a pressure-packed situation to ball out with Luka and LeBron, because if he doesn't, people are going to be crushing this dude. So DeAndre Ayton, former big-time pick years ago, coming out of Arizona, he's on the pressure list for me.
Matty, you know that there is no pressure quite like performing in a major golf championship. And the Central Ohio Two-Man Scramble League has one on Saturday. It is the event, the Marysville Marathon. And right now, the Dottie Pepper Trophy is on Travis Turvey's bookshelf. He's sending out pictures. He's sending out videos. Ooh, I got this. Had such a great year last year. You're not going back-to-back, son. Yeah. You're just not. You don't have what it takes to back up that performance a year ago. So I know he's feeling good. He we'll play around together. I'll throw you a bone. I'll carry you for 9 holes. That'd be great. I'll carry you for 9 holes. But you can't sustain that level of performance for 36 holes on Saturday at the Ridge Golf and Gardens. It's just not happening. In fact, I don't even think he's going to finish in the top half of the field, Matty.
Ooh, I like it. It's getting spicy. It's getting spicy. That's a good one right there. Second candidate for me. I love trash talk. I'm going with Miles Turner.
Okay.
Miles Turner, the newest Milwaukee Buck. He was a part of that fun Indiana Pacers team that went to 7 games in the NBA Finals. Then Halliburton blows out his Achilles in the first half, and then it was downhill from there. But Miles Turner was a dude. I remember years ago, there was some talk that he may come to Ohio State before he went to Texas, which would have been awesome. But now here he is in a new destination, new location, 4 years, $107 million contract. The reason why, to me, he is now on the pressure list is because he is going to be one of those guys that has to prove to Giannis, this is why you should stay. This is why you shouldn't ask out. It's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. They waived Damian Lillard. He is now going to be a free agent, which, by the way, that is tremendous living if you can get it. I always say, like, the coaching buyouts, like, yeah, on the surface, you're getting, quote, fired. But the money that's on the way is just like, hey, I'll take it. I'll be on vacation. No doubt. Damian Lillard, the next 5 years, is going to make $22.5 million to not play for Milwaukee. So he gets to double dip. I get to get big checks from Milwaukee, and then I get to pick where I want to go next. That's good living there. But on the Milwaukee side of things, Miles Turner, really good offensive player, is a big, can do some rim protecting for you as well. I just think, man, Giannis is going to be looking at him and saying, what do you got? What do you got? Why should I not ask out? Why should I not want to get over to San Antonio or get to Houston and play with some of those young guys and really give myself even more runway in my career? So Miles is a good player in his own right, but I think he needs to really up his game to a whole nother level in the situation around Milwaukee, because it doesn't feel great right now when it comes to the Giannis stuff. Miles Turner can make it feel a little bit better if he plays well next year. So Miles Turner's on the pressure list for me.
It's a great one. I'll throw in for number 3, Luke Fahey. He has a commitment pending. Going to announce later today, the Mission Viejo class of 2026 quarterback. And here's the pressure. You get to choose wherever you want to go to college.
Yeah.
If you choose Ohio State, then you're walking into a room and you're embracing the pressure. And I love the guys that do that, the alpha mentality. You know that Tavian St. Clair signed in the class ahead of you, potentially, if he picks Ohio State today, Luke Fahey. You have Brady Edmonds behind in the class of 2027. And whether it's Lincoln Kienholz or Julian Sayin, both of those guys potentially have multiple years of starting at Ohio State ahead of them if they want. So, if you choose that, that's great. Berm compared this guy to Russell Wilson. That's putting even more pressure on you. With a little bit undersized with some of the mobility, but big-time accuracy and big-time arm. So it's all out there. Do you want that? You want that world? We'll find out today.
Love it. Last candidate for me, it's a man you can't see. And his name is John Cena.
Oh, the never seen 17?
I got to tell you what, A-Dub. This heel run, it's a miss. It's a miss for me. Now, I will give him this. Pipe Bomb 2.0 that he cut on CM Punk, tremendous.
Good.
But other than that, this whole thing is like, okay. It's fine. Here or there, he's done some good things. What you need, and as you know, as a wrestling fan, if you're going to go heel, you got to do something very just nasty and
dastardly.
Yes, along the way. And we haven't had that moment from John Cena. The visual we got, a couple years ago now, where The Rock is out in the rain and he's whooping Cody Rhodes with his belt.
Mama Rhodes.
Look at you now, boy. How many times did he say that in that promo? Rubbing the blood on the belt. Like, that's what you got to do. And this thing's going to be over before we know it. And so I am just waiting for this thing to really peak. We know he's got the goods. On the stick, on the mic, he's one of the best to ever do it. But I think the in-ring stuff, outer-ring stuff, behind the scenes, we got to crank that up to a whole nother level. And so John Cena, maybe he'll go back to being a good guy, a.k.a. a babyface at the end of this thing. But the heel part of this run for me, it just feels to me, A-Dub, like something has been missing, man.
So much potential with it. And everybody had been waiting. And maybe that's the problem. Our expectations were too high. Yeah. We wanted this for 20 years. Oh, wouldn't it be amazing if John Cena finally turns heel? It's hard to execute that part because of the fact that it's shoehorned into the retirement year, and we know that there's an expiration date coming on December 31st.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he hasn't gone as extreme with it as we would have thought at Elimination Chamber when Liberty is just crying in the living room, and my mom is like, what are you watching? Like that was like setting it off in motion. It's like, this is going to be awesome. And it has not matched that moment.
It's just been okay. Because right out of the gate, you mentioned the situation where he gives Cody Rhodes a low blow. You see him hit the eye contact with The Rock, and you're like, this could be one of the best things we've seen in a very, very long time with the star power that is there. And then The Rock's just been out of sight, out of mind. John Cena's over at Wimbledon right now, hanging out with his wife and all that stuff. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm going to sit down and watch it, but
heels don't go to Wimbledon.
I want more. Coming up next in 2 minutes, we'll look around the Big Ten. In 2025, for Austin and I, the most intriguing teams, players in the conference in the upcoming season. Who is that for us? We'll talk about it in 2 minutes. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea was your best friend, it would be the kind of friend that starts an impromptu dance party in the supermarket aisle that turns into an all-day pool party rager at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea turns any day into a legendary adventure. It's smooth and refreshing real iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $699.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
At United Dairy Farmers, peach is our most popular ice cream. And once you taste it, you'll know why. Right now, get 2 48-ounce cartons of UDF peach ice cream for $10. It's only here for a short time. UDF peach ice cream, made for you.
Double your savings with Logan Services. Save up to $3,200 on a qualifying air conditioning and heating system. And ask about tax credits up to $3,200. Call for your free estimate now. Logan Services.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The best teams don't always win titles. Sounds like AR and Maddie bragging about their fantasy teams.
Hey, that's cheating.
This is Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice, Austin Ward, chopping it up with you today. I was about to say happy Friday. Technically it isn't, but
happy 4th of July weekend.
I know a lot of people are doing half days today and full days off. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Stay safe out there, traveling and all those good things. Really stay safe with the fireworks and all that, man. Just have a safe and fun weekend. What are you laughing at, TLC?
Anybody come to mind?
No. Well, Bobby yesterday sent in a picture. It was awful. I'll have to show you during the break. It's a long story, but a guy that had a eye incident with a firework. It was just nasty, gruesome. If you can handle those things, I'll show it to you. If not, then
I'm gonna have to think about it. I like the breaks better when you and I are fantasy booking WWE instead of getting gruesome fireworks pictures.
Yeah, because I think I'd actually be a good booker. I do.
I think so.
It's just storytelling. It's what it is.
We're kicking it around.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're trying to get to the championship belt for Seth Rollins. How do we do it with Money in the Bank briefcase?
Triple H, if you're listening,
we got ideas.
Talk to us, big dog. What are you thinking? We got TLC.
I think Ice, you'd be a great manager in the WWE. I think you could go opposite of Paul Heyman.
So you think I could
You want him going man to man with Paul Heyman on the mic?
No, Paul Heyman's too legendary for
Paul
that.
would cook me on the mic right now. So you're saying I could be a good babyface manager or a heel manager?
Ooh.
Good guy or bad guy manager for me?
Whichever one Roman Reigns is.
So a heel. I'd want to be a heel because I just want to talk trash.
Yeah, what's the fun of being a babyface manager? You don't even need one.
You really don't. You're
supposed to go represent yourself.
Yeah,
and fight for what's right.
In the history of wrestling, a lot of the most popular managers have been heel managers.
I guess
for the most part.
The
right?
only true babyface manager, if you have the mouth of the South running around with Hulk.
Yeah, that was good.
Otherwise, what's the point? Cody Rhodes doesn't need someone to go speak for him. Jey Uso doesn't. He might benefit from
He might. But Jey Uso just got a whole movement going with the whole Yeet entrance.
That would be it. I'm booking it now. Maddie, you are Jey Uso's manager.
I would love that.
You're getting on the mic for him, and then he can just walk up after you're done.
Yeah.
And you'll hand him the mic. Anything you want to add, Jay? And he'll say, one word.
4 letters.
4 letters.
One word.
Yay!
That's all he's got to do.
And then you don't have to.
It's all he's got to do.
Hand it, that's all he did the last promo he cut with Cody out there.
TLC, you're on to something.
You can be a manager.
I think I'd be a good man. I'd come out.
You don't have to wrestle
every week. Yeah.
You don't have to do steroids.
No, I'd take a bump every once in a while because you probably have to, right? If I need to throw me through a table.
Charles Robinson just took one on Saturday.
Oh my goodness.
What's your theme music, Ice?
See, I think it would have to be whatever the wrestlers is, though. I don't think I could have my own. Paul Heyman is so legendary.
No music.
No, all you hear is ladies and gentlemen, and you know who it is. And the crowd goes absolutely nuts. He is just the best manager to me to ever do it. Yep. I know there's some other people that have opinions, but Paul Heyman is absolutely incredible. Let's get into some Big Ten ball.
Okay.
A storyline for you, Austin, outside of Columbus right now. Player, team, coach, where there's a lot of intrigue in your mind when it comes to those 3 categories. Who was that for you?
Yeah, I think before we even get to training camp, we're in that 60-day window where Ann Arbor's going to be getting some news, and whatever happens with postseason penalties, sanctions, more suspension for Sherron Moore, I don't know. It's foolish to make a prediction because the NCAA Committee on Infractions isn't going to reveal any of that stuff ahead of time. With or without it, what are they going to look like? That was a really disappointing season for them that they got to come steal one in the horseshoe. I shouldn't take anything away from them. They earned the win. Whatever was going on with Will Howard's health or missing field goals, doesn't matter. They won the game. Jeremiah Smith made that point in his comments this week. It's I'm not a sore loser. They didn't make excuses for it. But, you're going to be putting in your $10 million quarterback, first time true freshman starter. There's intrigue that. What does this actually look like in the future for Sherron Moore as he tries to put his stamp on the program? They're missing a lot of really good pieces on the defense that made that game so competitive in November last year. Mm-hmm. So it's a program-wide thing for them. Now, Bryce Underwood, what does that look like? There's going to be growing pains.
Yep.
What does he look like in week 1 compared to week 12 when Ohio State would have to actually be, more concerned about what he looks like? I don't know. We'll see what that growth process looks like and how invested the Wolverines really are if they wind up in a situation where they can't play beyond that, which I think is definitely on the table, if not the likely outcome.
They have, Oklahoma week 2 or 3? It's pretty early on their schedule. And
Sherron can't be suspended for that because it's his alma mater.
Homecoming.
You have to be allowed to go coach that game.
Homecoming. So for Michigan out of the gate, it will be New Mexico at home, and then the following week, September 6th, will be at Oklahoma, 7:30 on ABC. I think you're all over it when it comes to Bryce Underwood. We saw a similar thing with Dylan Raiola, young guy last year where you see the tools. He has them, right? In time, this guy should be a good quarterback. Everybody's saying Bryce Underwood, he's got everything that it takes to eventually be that. But when you're coming around this conference, which is arguably the best conference in the sport, you're going to take it on the chin a couple times. I like what you started off with there. I'm going to go with specifically the pass catchers for Penn State and what that looks like. I think I know what I'm getting from their running back room. Singleton and Allen have been good players for the last couple of years. Drew Aller, no doubt, took a leap, right? You get Andy Koltelnicki to come over from Kansas as your offensive coordinator, and you can see a difference in his game, and they were more explosive. But you are removing Tyler Warren from the equation. And I know they brought in some guys via the portal that they like at wide receiver, but to me, that's what's been missing for them is the ability to really stretch out a defense sideline to sideline and have dudes on the outside that can really scare you. One of those guys they thought would have been a dude for them last year was Julian Fleming. Right. That did not work out, and some other wide receivers didn't step up either. But if they're going to reach the potential and the hype that's out there for them, I think it's going to be because their offense on the outside has some dudes you have to worry about. So that's one thing I cannot wait to see is the offensive balance that Penn State has, and can they put teams in a bind with the run game and the passing attack there?
It's a great one because you can assume that defense has been good for several years, and now they've got Jim Knowles operating that. So in terms of most fascinating personalities in the league, some of the conversation has died down a little bit around Jim Knowles since April, and he gave that interview to ESPN and talked about how awkward the contract negotiations were with Ohio State. My personal view of that was that he made that very awkward by trying to get that done before a national championship game was being played. But either way, it made for a strange exit, and you're going from, one program at the top of the Big Ten to another. You don't see that happen very often. So he's going to have that homecoming opportunity coming back to a place where, there was never a point where you're like, Jim Knowles isn't earning his money here. They were the number one defense in the country. Right. They won a national championship with him. And I think you tip your hat to that. Now, does that mean that you have to give him a standing ovation when he returns wearing different colors on November 1st? No, you don't have to. You don't even have to boo, really. I mean, maybe silence is just the best tribute to that. But because to your point, like, there's a lot of talent returning on that Penn State defense. Jim Knowles can do a lot when you give him that personnel. We saw him do that for the last 3 years. But can the Penn State offense find the balance and the consistency to make teams pay to actually live up to that full potential? You can't have games against talent-equated competition where your receivers catch 0 footballs, no matter how good your tight end is. Right. Like, that's insane, and that can't happen for them if they actually want to get to the point. Now, the pressure there ultimately falls on James Franklin rather than, the guys on the roster itself, in my opinion, because he's the one who continually he's making these hires, he's making some of these big-time decisions and falling short. So they remain one of the more intriguing teams. It's this trio. I mean, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan. Michigan's not in that competition for a championship, really, but that battle for Ohio State, Penn State in November is going to be just awesome. I can't wait for that one.
100%. Another one for me is the development at the quarterback position for Oregon. Last 2 years, or last 2 laps around the track, if you will, for at quarterback for them have been ready-made guys. Right? And Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, dudes that had played a whole bunch of ball before they got over to Eugene. What's been waiting in the wings is what I assume is going to be their guy in Dante Moore, right? Originally committed to UCLA with Chip Kelly. He's been at Oregon for a year. A year. And so the coaching, and can they get him up to a high level? Because when you acquire Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel, obviously you have to coach them up, but I don't know if there's as much coaching needed with those two as there probably will be with Dante Moore. And so that part of it, and also, where does their offense go without Evan Stewart? Their star receiver who may miss the whole year. We don't know. I haven't really seen anything official on that. The offensive identity of Oregon and what that looks like now with a guy that you may have to take a little off his plate, at least early on in the season before he really catches a rhythm in the middle of the season on the way down to the finale and all those good things. But the coaching in-house at that position is going to be fascinating to see what we get from Dan Lanning and his staff to see if they can continue that high level of play for the most part that we've seen from them, because Dante Moore, big-time recruit, and now it's your time to really show what you can do. But just what type of pop and spark will that offense have this year, specifically at quarterback, is going to be fun for me to see.
Yeah, they've been going with that cheat code a little bit with Bo Nix, as you mentioned, and Dylan Gabriel, because when you get those guys in, the coaching job is not develop them into, work on technique. You have to change their bodies in the weight room. Like, they were ready to go when they got there. You're just handing them the playbook, and you're hoping that they pick that up quickly enough to go lead it for you. This is the all-encompassing development when you're talking about Dante Moore. It's, step outside the Big Ten, you look at the same thing going on at Notre Dame. They've taken the same approach with veteran transfer portal quarterbacks the last couple of years, and now, can they do that with someone that they identified, recruited, signed, have them in the program, and what step does that look like for them? I think for Oregon, especially with that wide receiver group, is changed dramatically. I mean, there's no one that you would recognize. Evan Stewart was supposed to lead that whole group, and got guys like Jeremiah McClellan that Ohio State was involved in their recruitment. Can he take that step forward? So when you're dealing with not just a new quarterback, but a new group of wide receivers, there's a lot of uncertainty about what that looks like for Oregon, which is unusual, where that's just you normally set your watch to it. They're going to be a dynamic offense that's going to move the football up and down the field, and I don't know if that'll be the case.
I'm with you. There could be some good news on the way when it comes to recruiting and Ohio State. We'll talk about it next in the Buckeye Bulletin. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's July in Central Ohio. The grills are hot, the sun is hotter, and chances are you've seen a Newman Roofing truck rolling through your neighborhood. Maybe you've talked to one of our team members at a local event, or know someone who proudly says, yeah, I've got a Newman roof. At Newman Roofing, we're more than just a roofing company. We're your neighbors. And for the last 33 years, your support has helped us grow as a family-owned business. So we give back the best way we know how. With quality work, lasting relationships, and a lifetime workmanship warranty that means you'll never be left out in the rain. Thousands of families across Central Ohio have trusted us and had their expectations exceeded. And it's why we've been voted Best Roofing Company in Best of the Bus magazine for 4 years running now. So this summer, don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Delaware County Veterans Services is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Give Delaware County Veterans Services a call, 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment.
Back to Hollywood Casino Columbus and the ESPN Bet Sportsbook for an all-star game celebration and watch party. When? Tuesday, July 15th. Compete in our home run derby at 7 o'clock for a chance to win an incredible experience at an upcoming Reds game, plus a $250 gift card. So join On the Money's Dave Biddle and me, Scotty Vegas. Compete to win at 7 and enjoy the all-star game at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at 8. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, let's knock out The old Buckeye Bullets and Austin Ward in the house with us today.
Yeah.
A-Dub, the recruiting streets they're chirping a little bit. Maybe some positive news on the way for Ryan Day and the gang over there.
There might be. Believe it or not, Maddie, the sky is not falling at the Woody Hayes Athletics Center. I know that last weekend, even though they got a couple commitments, it was the ones that got away that brought a little frustration. Totally get it. We'll see if all of those wind up sticking because some of those checks might bounce. But anyway, that's neither here nor there because all you can do is keep moving on to the next one. And there's a couple, there's an announcement today. There's a possibility for a couple commitments this weekend, but I think the probability is high here. Only Luke Fahey knows for sure, but this quarterback, 4-star in the composite profile, he's out of Mission Viejo, California. 6 foot, 6'1", depending on maybe what day, if he has the cleats on or not. Berm has been crunching the film on that for us on the Austin and Berm show. He had compared him to Russell Wilson. I mentioned that earlier in the show. If you missed it, you can catch that on the YouTube or get the podcast of the episode. I have that as the under pressure because this situation where you don't see a lot of uncommitted quarterbacks for the current class of 2026 in July. But that won't be the case for long. Luke Fahey's going to pick somebody. It's been, Indiana, Stanford, not normally the same caliber of programs that you think about for Ohio State quarterbacks, but the process has been a little bit complicated for the Buckeyes in that you have Tavian St. Clair in the previous class, 5-star, off the charts, high expectations for him, and you have Julian Sayin and Lincoln Keenhold still with eligibility ahead of them, and you have a commitment for the class of 2027, Brady Edmonds. So it's hard to identify that right guy. It's hard to figure out the finances for that. Again, that's a part that we always have to bring up, and that's not to knock Luke Fahey. He had a fantastic performance at the 7-on-7 out there in Southern California. I believe that was 3 days ago. He visited last month now, June, with Ohio State. So they've identified it, and Ryan Day tends to know what he likes and what he wants in that quarterback position. And then it takes somebody who is not afraid to accept that challenge moving forward. So it's not, I don't want it to sound like, oh, well, he's sandwiched between these other guys and it doesn't matter and he's an uncommitted guy. And, well, if Indiana wanted him, it doesn't mean anything. If Ryan Day wants him, it does mean something. And you look at this situation, if he wants that opportunity, it's in front of him. You come in and you compete, and who knows what transpires from there. But that commitment is coming up, and it looks like it's trending Ohio State's way.
You touched on Indiana in there. Maybe, in a year or two, we'll be putting some respect on Kirk Cignetti's name for an eye for talent at that position,
sure.
Right? You had Curtis Fort come from OU last year. He played at a high level. And then you had Fernando Mendoza this offseason from Cal, which I know people like, which is in wait-and-see mode. But you're right. Like, if you're Ryan Day, you're not worried about a crowded room. It's about, let's get all the talent that we can and then figure it out from there. It's always a respectable thing for me, for guys that do make those type of decisions, because you mentioned Tavian St. Clair. He's got so much left as far as eligibility goes and is talented in his own right. And if you're a guy right now in high school, you're looking at that and you're saying, okay, that doesn't worry me. Like, I want to go compete. Like, that's what I think what you want if you're a coach and if you're, a player on the team, is to have guys come in with that mentality. And we hear the term all the time, good on good. And Ohio State has that, in waves, and has had it in waves for years. So definitely going to be fascinating there, but no surprise that Coach Day and the staff over there may be cooking up some good things. To my eye, and I don't really keep up with recruiting all the time year round, it looks like Tyler Bowen has come into Columbus, A-Dub, and really done some pretty good things out there on the recruiting trail as the new offensive line coach.
Yeah, I think that people are recruits are responding to the way Ohio State has sort of structured this with the staff, because Tyler Bowen is a dynamic recruiter, but then you also have like two really experienced guys assisting him, and it's a three-man group, and you're not going to find that level of development and hands-on attention for a lot of position groups the way that Ohio State has structured that. And you're catching the eye of a lot of these guys. Doesn't mean that they're going to win every single one. Another 5-star offensive lineman committed to Oregon today. They lost out on the Jackson Cantwell recruitment last month, 2 months ago, whenever that was. In some ways, the hands are tied because Ohio State is not going to be in the market of paying $2 million for 5-star offensive linemen who are not going to play in year one and may not play in year two at such a developmental position. But I think now you've got a growing body of work that's not just like that. The program can take an Austin Saraveld and turn him into a starter. And year and a half, 2 years. Carson Hinsman, it's not just like taking Paris Johnson and putting the finishing touches on that. Justin Fry was doing that, and Tyler Bowen is inheriting that. But you've got a 3-man group that, based on everything that Berm is reporting and what we're hearing on that side, it's like people love that you can get 3 experienced offensive line coaches and a dynamic personality, and Tyler Bowen working with you, and that's pretty exciting because you're going to have that. That position group, you need 15 talented guys to get through the course of 16 games and compete at the level you want. So the same is true on the defensive line, and I think, Matty, that's another spot to watch as you head into this weekend. Jameer Perez from Glenville. This guy's, he looks like Jonathan Hankins. He doesn't have the recruiting profile of that, but you watch him on film. He's currently committed to Florida.
Okay.
I would bet he has said that he's got an announcement coming on the 4th of July. I don't think you normally announce that you're going to decommit. So maybe a flip situation.
Yeah, no doubt. No, it's good stuff there.
Hold on, real quick. What are the streets saying about Felix Hojo?
It's money, man. There are situations where,
see, now I want him to commit to Ohio State just to prove Adam King wrong. Even though that doesn't help my agenda. Well, now I want it just to spite him.
I'll say this, TLC, that Ohio State's philosophy has been to not pay those 7-figure dollar amounts for 5-star linemen because it's going to take longer. But they were in that ballpark for Jackson Cantwell. They don't want to miss on the generational guys and the opportunity to develop them if they have the chance. So if there's an exception to that, that could be one.
Okay. Definitely some stuff to monitor going into the holiday weekend. We're giving away right now a family 4-pack of tickets to the Cardell Jones charity softball game on Saturday, July 19th at Huntington Park. 614-821-9710 is TLC's hotline number. Earlier in the show, I admitted that I have never seen a very popular movie series. And then my guy, Austin Ward, came in and said, Matty Ice, I got your back. I haven't seen it either. What is this popular movie series? If you get it right, you will get a family 4-pack of tickets to the Cardell Jones charity softball game on Saturday, July 19th at Huntington Park. 614-821-9710 is our hotline number. When we come back, ESPN has identified a big surprise player for each NFL team going into the 2025 season. We'll roll through the AFC North after the break in the deep dive. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because we know in making the most of your home, DIY doesn't just stand for do it yourself. It also means dream it yourself. And we're here to help protect the dreams you're building. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Your bathroom's got to go, the vanity's decayed, and toilet's really old. The bathtub's giving way. Give Bath R Us a ring. Call morning, noon, or night. You do not have to wait to get your bathroom right.
Call Baths R Us for your free estimate and enter to win our Christmas in July $12,500 bathroom remodel with an additional savings of up to $3,000 plus low to no monthly payments. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
2 years ago, Bobby Carpenter completed treatments for knee pain at QC Kinetics. So we're checking in with the former college and pro football player to see how he's doing.
I've been asked a lot, like, how long does this last? How long does it work? I go, I've had mine for a couple years, and everything feels very good. It feels just as good as it did when I started to turn the corner.
Bobby's an active husband, dad, and business owner. That's why 2 years ago, he heard about QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments, and he knew he could trust them for his chronic knee pain.
And thankfully, with QC Kinetics, I was able to go through this, and my activities are the same as it was. I'm able to coach my kids in sports. I can play golf. I can go run.
QC Kinetics patients like Bobby don't miss a beat. No surgery or rehab. Just freedom from debilitating joint pain. Ready for lasting relief from joint pain? Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Cool Card. Cool people, good time. It's the biggest and best hot rodding event of the year. The Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals presented by PPG. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 classics from across the USA. Shop the swap meet at Huge Vendor Midway. See which rides take home the crown of the 2025 Classic Instrument Street Rods and PPG Street Machine of the Year. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Now open. Zumbizi Bay's brand new conservation tower. 3 slides, 1 tower, and endless thrills. Only at
Zumbizi Bay.
Plan your visit at zumbizibay.com.
Cheer on your Redlegs when they battle the Miami Marlins July 7th through the 10th. Don't miss another Budweiser 3-2-1 Tuesday featuring $3 beers, $2 hot dogs, and $1 ice cream cups. Plus, on Thursday, July 10th, rock out with country music act Old Dominion when they take the field for an Ohio Lottery post-game concert free to fans with a game ticket. Visit Reds.com/tickets today.
Central Ohio contractors and homeowners. Tired of overpriced, low-quality cabinets? Well, it's time to upgrade your cabinet game. 3D Cabinetry is your go-to for fast, hassle-free service and cabinets you can trust from order to install. 3D Cabinetry delivers fully assembled all-wood affordable cabinets. No delays, no stress. Just quality craftsmanship delivered on time every time. Get started with your free consultation today at 3dcabinetry.net. That's 3dcabinetry.net, where quality meets affordability and reliability.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text HOT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text HOT to 42424. That's HOT to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Cleveland Guardians pitcher Luis Ortiz has been placed on leave through at least the All-Star break due to an MLB betting investigation. Ortiz was supposed to start for Cleveland tonight when they wrap up their series with the Cubs in Wrigley Field at 8:05. Joey Cantillo will now make the start for the Guards. Cade Horton gets the ball for Chicago. Off day for the Cincinnati Reds. They begin a series in Philly against the Phillies tomorrow at 1:05. The Columbus Clippers still up in Toledo this afternoon, taking on the Mud Hens at 4:05. Former Blue Jackets forward Trey Fix-Wolansky has signed a 1-year, 2-way deal with the New York Rangers, and the San Jose Sharks bolstered their blue line today. They signed defenseman Dmitry Orlov to a 2-year, $13 million deal. They also claimed defenseman Nick Leddy off of waivers from the St. Louis Blues.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice, I got Austin Ward in the house with me today. Bottom of the hour, we'll talk all things Major League Baseball, Guardians, Reds, and a lot more with our guy J. Lou in our Chin Music segment. That's a bit of breaking news in the AFC North right here for you, TLC. And this is very interesting. I don't know if you've seen this. This just came down. The Steelers have signed GM Omar Khan to a 3-year contract extension through the 2028 season. And what I find so interesting about this, fellas, is that you look at their moves over the last week, 2 weeks. Some people were thinking this was Omar Khan trying to save his job because he was desperate. And now here we are.
He looks like he did.
And here he is. He's locked in for 3 more years. So some breaking news in the AFC North right now. Omar Khan, GM for the old Steelers, a 3-year contract extension. You're the Steelers fan. How does this land for you over there?
You have no idea how many 4-letter words are circling around my head right now.
How about just one on repeat?
Yeah. Dude, he's terrible. He can't draft. He's terrible. He didn't draft Najee Harris, so I won't hold that one against him. But Kenny Pickett into Broderick Jones into Troy Fontenot, which, okay, Fontenot got hurt last year, but Fontenot got hurt when he came in for Broderick Jones, who got benched, who was the first-round pick before him.
Yeah, it hasn't been
and
great.
Do I need to run through all the second-round picks?
And you just
we're not very good at second-round picks either.
Yeah, I hear you. They clearly trust him, and the reason why I find this so interesting, Austin, is that they're going into it's not even this season for me. It's next year and all the draft capital that they have.
Right.
They clearly trust him to get what's going to be a big decision correct next year, because I think they're going to be in the mix to potentially grab one of these quarterbacks, and everybody's saying this is the next best class, and we hear that a lot. But that's what this NFL draft streets are saying, is that next year's class is where you get your quarterback of the future if you need one.
Yeah.
And the Steelers have 11, 12 draft picks next year, and so Omar Khan's got a massive decision. I did not see this coming. I didn't.
He's terrible.
I did not think that they were going to extend him right now.
I'm lashing out. He's not even responsible for all these picks, but I'm lashing out anyway.
The Pittsburgh Steelers select Juju Smith-Schuster from USC.
Wow.
The 49th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, Pittsburgh Steelers select Chase Claypool, wide receiver, Notre Dame.
It's my honor to welcome the 52nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers select George Pickens, Georgia.
I can only imagine what is going through Mike Tomlin's mind right now.
I can only imagine what's going through Mike Tomlin's head right now.
Oh, man, I'm
George
sorry.
George Pickens was him, I think.
That wasn't a miss. It wasn't as far as
we chose not to re-sign him.
As far as the player goes, that's a talent. But you're right. Are you talking in the future? I'm not going to knock them for the Omar or for the George Pickens selection there.
Look,
seeing these comments.
As much as you know that I'm kind of tired of the whole Tomlin act and, oh, did you know that he's never had a losing season? Yes, I do. Thank you very much. I've heard it a million times. Omar Khan is the one who's like definitively bad at his job.
Yeah. It's a head scratcher.
Oh, so TLC, you're saying they shouldn't be trusting him to run next year's draft. That is a crossroads moment for the Steelers organization.
Yeah, and I told you yesterday, Ice, I said, or maybe it was a couple of days ago, I said it's kind of looking like all their contracts are going to expire at the same time. There's going to be some sort of a reset.
It felt that way, yeah.
And that's when you bring in new people. To reset everything.
So I found the Steelers Twitter page and their announcement of the deal, and I'll just throw a couple comments at you guys.
Yeah,
how are the replies?
Bunch of middle finger emojis, I hope.
Con artist strikes again. The con man is here to stay. Cool, get us a wide receiver too. Well deserved. Another.
Who said that?
Well deserved, making moves the Steelers needed to do a long time
Omar
ago.
Khan 23.
Yeah. No, no, that was wrist up Browns fan 21.
It's a mixed bag in here. Big W. I got
that's a Bengals fan.
A no with a whole bunch of heartbreak emojis in this thing. So it seems like Steeler Nation is a little split on this. We know what side you are on. Speaking of the AFC North, I know you found a nice piece for us from ESPN where they identified some of the what could be some of the big surprise players for each team for the upcoming season. Let's start in the AFC North. Throw some at us, TLC.
We got some very deep cuts here. So start with one that we know for sure. I believe we all know who Jermaine Burton is.
Yes.
And
God.
Yeah. Jermaine Burton, by the way, also toxic in the form of NIL because he's one of the few people who actually left a starting job. As bad as NIL and transfer portal stuff is, a lot of people who transfer don't leave starting jobs. It's a lot of people who still need better playing time. Jermaine Burton was not one of them. He left a starting job at Georgia to go to Alabama. I think I got that.
Yeah, that's right.
Jermaine Burton, who has now had some off-the-field issues that got in the way of his productivity and development as a receiver. He is someone who is cited as a potential breakout player for the Bengals this year.
I wonder which of his 4 catches last year really inspired this level of confidence. Which one really moved the needle for him?
Careful, because the Browns, the guy that they have has 3 catches.
Well, I'm looking at the list that you got here, TLC. It's like they picked 4 wide receivers. They picked one from every AFC North team. It's like they got together. It's like we can only talk about wideouts in this segment. But Jermaine Burton, give me a break.
Here's the thing. The beauty of this for Cincinnati and the front office is they don't need him.
Yeah.
They don't need him because you have the obvious headliners, right? The names on the marquee. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. But Andre Yoshivas is no slouch.
Nope.
Mike Gesicki is a good option to have off of Higgins and Chase. And so I think they use, a 3rd-round pick on Burton? Am I making that up?
Sounds right.
2nd, 3rd-round pick somewhere in there. So it's not significant. Well, it is pretty significant draft capital. But I don't think, A-Dub, if it doesn't pan out, that they're going to be hurting on offense if Jermaine Burton doesn't show up week in and week out. Would it be nice to have him as an extra weapon? Of course. But they're in good hands for years to come when it comes to the Cincinnati offense if Higgins and Chase are healthy. They're going to be one of the best offensive units in the league. So I don't expect Jermaine Burton to be a big surprise this year. I just don't trust it.
It's also, like you said, Matty, it's not necessary. And if the Bengals have to get to that point now, we've seen T. Higgins deal with injuries. We've seen Joe Burrow deal with injuries, and they've had to dip into their depth at running back, at wide receiver. I think you're going to get through a long season. You're going to need to do that. But, I'd rather see Chucky Sizzle do that than bet on Jermaine Burton to do anything personally. So that's where I'm at. I'm disgusted by it. And this is the segment for the AFC North where TLC had to deal with Omar Khan, and I've got to listen to Jermaine Burton conversations.
Hey, the article is entitled Biggest Surprises, so it would be.
That would be, okay. I would be surprised. And if he proves me wrong, great.
TLC, what do you got for the Brownies?
For the Browns, and if you've heard of this guy, good for you. Jamari Thrash at receiver.
Jamari Thrash.
I wonder which of his 3 catches last year are inspiring this level.
At first, I felt guilty for never hearing of him. Then I checked his 3 for 22 stat line that he had last season. I'm like, you know what? I don't feel so bad anymore.
You're not supposed to know his name right now. He hasn't done enough. It is a room to me that's light. Like they're trusting Deontay Johnson to be a dude for them in that room. Jerry Jeudy's career outside of last year has been peaks and valleys, right? You see him on one week, and you're like, this dude can ball. And then he's out of sight, out of mind for a while. And so I understand what they're trying to say there. I just haven't seen anything from this guy, to your guys' point, based off what he's done statistically throughout his career, specifically last year, to think that he's going to take a massive level up. I think Quinshon Judkins is going to be such a big piece of what they do on offense. You add Dylan Sampson to the mix. I think you can, beat some teams up with the run game next year and have the play action pass off of that. But it would be a surprise to see him play at any significant level for the Browns. I'm just not seeing how we get to that point.
Yeah, maybe we're being too critical of the concept here, but it's like you're going to pick surprise players. You'd think that there'd be some level of body of work evidence that you could point to that it's actually going to happen. If you're naming guys that you don't even know who they are, that does qualify as a surprise, but why are you trying to just stir the pot to get a little hope up? I don't understand why. No. Just talk about somebody who might be having a bounce back here. You identify something that we can actually use.
Mm-hmm. And here's an interesting one. From a team that had, I think, an unbelievable draft, a late round pick for the Arizona Cardinals, they have Cody Simon.
Oh, baby. Now we're talking.
We know what they're getting.
Yeah.
They're going to know in short time what they're getting. You're getting an adult in the room, and you're getting a kind of, to me, like that old school feel at linebacker, right? So I think he'll execute on the field, and he'll bring them good leadership. And they've done a lot of shopping at the old Ohio State store here recently. And it is smart, right? Building out your team that way. The Saints did it for a while, and they saw some pretty good years.
Did they get Burke, too?
They did get Denzel Burke and Cody Simon and Paris Johnson.
They signed Josh Fryer. They've got Marv.
Yes, right. And so a lot of scarlet and gray.
Justin Fry.
I'm about to say there may be some Justin Fry connection on
there you
getting
go.
Josh Fryer.
There you go.
I think they went They went Walter Nolan into Will Johnson into Jordan Birch round 1 through 3.
That sounds correct.
I think the Cardinals did a real good job in the draft.
They have a really good piece at tight end, as we know, and Trey McBride. Marvin, it's just the chemistry wasn't there with Kyler and Marvin. You look at the lack of completion percentage between the two, and it just wasn't where you want it to be, and with the back shoulder throws and just all that stuff that we know Marvin is great at. There's some people out there in the streets that are doubting Marvin's separation skills based off what they saw last year, but as far as him being a productive wide receiver, that's going to come in short order there out there in Arizona. But Cody Simon, to us, it's not going to be a surprise. To the people out there can understand why they don't know the name just yet, but he's going to be, I think, a rock-solid pro, A-Dub.
I think he did surprise even in Columbus, because the conversation at this time a year ago was, well, Cody is going to approach business the right way. He's going to be a leader. He's going to know the defense. He's rock solid. He doesn't do anything to really flash athletically. And I thought that was off base, but he still had to go out and prove it on a snap after snap basis. That's fair if you had some level of skepticism about it. But I think what happened at the start of his career when he was thrust into a starting role before he was ready, while he was playing with a shoulder injury, wound up being kind of held against him. Like, why hasn't he been able to bounce back from that and pass Steel Chambers, pass Tommy Eichenberg? He was starting to do that 2 years ago, and you could start to see him taking those snaps and taking those opportunities away, the energy he was playing with. He's always been more athletic, I think, than he got credit for. And then you saw that last year. The production was not because he just showed up in the right spot every time. He was flying to the correct spot.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff out of you too, TLC. That was fun there. Coming up in pre-snap reads, what does a successful season look like for J.J. McCarthy up there in Minnesota? One ESPN NFL analyst thinks he knows. You'll hear it next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasheterFord.net. Thanks.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Did you know their co-founders are Ohio natives? Yeah. Window Nation has been replacing windows in the Columbus region for over 15 years. Not only does Window Nation know what windows work best for Ohio homeowners like you, they're also local to the area. And right now, you can take advantage of Window Nation's biggest sale of the year. Get 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. You heard that right. With Window Nation, you won't pay any interest until 2030. Plus, they'll install your new windows in 1 day or less, so you can get back to your daily routine right away. Personally, I wouldn't procrastinate. You don't want to wait on this deal. It's a trustworthy company like Window Nation, getting your windows in 1 day or less. 50% off all window styles now, plus 0 interest until 2030 with Window Nation. Call them up, 866-90NATION, or visit windownation.com to get your free quote on replacement windows. 866-90NATION or windownation.com. And tell them T-Bone sent you.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
This was something of a bittersweet day in Reds baseball back on July 3rd, 1877. The bad news was that the Reds had been forced to suspend operations for 3 weeks. On June 16th of that year, the club went bankrupt. Ownership declared the season over for the Reds. But a couple of weeks later, a new owner stepped up, re-signed the players, and the club resumed play on July 3rd. So baseball was back. Although the team was hardly worth watching, the 1877 Reds only won 15 games. They finished dead last. But at least the Reds were playing again, a second start for the 1877 season on this July 3rd, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for Orthopedic One, Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice. They helped me with my elbow pain, and I'm back on the course. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One, this is where you go to get better.
Common Man and Timmy.
I'm going to take one of them orange cinnamon rolls. I'm going to shove it in your face. I'm going to put it in your mouth. You're going to suck all those orange juices. It's delicious.
Sure, it's delicious.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by Hinderer Motorsports.
Hey, I'm Ruben. My band and I have a new song we're getting ready to record this weekend. I'm also a tow truck driver. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I get to go home at the end of the day and see my bandmates.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
As we celebrate Independence Day this week, we need to celebrate and protect our students' freedom to learn. Public education is the foundation of a strong democracy. When we remember our American history, both the good and the bad, our students grow as critical thinkers who can write themselves into the history books of tomorrow.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunny skies in our forecast for today. We'll see afternoon highs getting into the upper 80s with light winds, and a stray shower can't be ruled out. For tonight, mostly clear with lows down into the 60s. And then for Friday, for the 4th of July, we get up into the low 90s. Lots of sunshine and dry conditions with maybe a stray shower or storm out there, but we do stay mainly dry closing out the week. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Leads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, before we get into some NFL action, let me let you know, folks, that at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. I'm looking at Shohei Ohtani tonight. They've been picking on the White Sox the last couple days. Congrats to Clayton Kershaw for getting to 3,000 Ks in his career. But give me an anytime dinger. Home run for Shohei Ohtani at plus 150 tonight. He'll take a couple left turns in the infield to get back to home plate. The dude, as we know, is just must-see TV. So an anytime home run for Shohei tonight is coming at plus 150. They've got an awesome new sign-up offer for you at Bet365 where you bet $5, you'll get $150 in bonus bets whether your bet wins or loses. Shohei is he's a freak show, man.
Isn't it crazy that it's just like, well, I don't know, it's 50-50 if Shohei's going to hit a home run tonight. Like, it's not quite to that point, but like you just expect him to do something phenomenal every time out there, and by and large, he meets the moment.
Yeah.
So I can't argue with your bet there, Manny.
I've said this a couple times. I don't know how over the next 4 to 5 years, and maybe even more, this dude doesn't win every single NL MVP. Because to me, there's not going to be a player to make a case statistically that can even come close to what he's doing, because he's going to hit 35 to 50 home runs a year, and he can be a legit starting pitcher at the high end of your rotation. So, like, all the MVP should just go to him. Like, if they don't, and he plays at his level, then, like, some guy would have to hit 90 home runs or something ridiculous for me to want to give my vote to them over Shohei.
Well, he might do it.
Right, he might. He might. He could do anything and everything out there on a baseball field. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only. You must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offers subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
You know, earlier, A-Dub, we were talking about some things in the Big Ten we were looking forward to seeing, and, you know, talked about some of the quarterback play that we may get with, you know, Bryce Underwood and Dante Moore. In the NFL, a guy that used to play in the Big Ten at quarterback that I know has got a ton of pressure on him and will have a bunch of eyeballs on him is one J.J. McCarthy. And Harry Douglas over at ESPN, who we talked to down at Radio Row in New Orleans this past year, really good dude, man, does some great stuff over at ESPN, had this to say about what would qualify as a quality season for old J.J. McCarthy.
Harry, what would you say is a successful season if you're J.J. McCarthy?
Leading the Minnesota Vikings to a playoff win. That's a successful season. Now, I would say this about J.J. McCarthy as well. We got to remember, this is a very athletic quarterback, so he's going to be an addition to the run game as well. All he has to do is protect the football, deliver it, and not mess things up for Minnesota because of the infrastructure and everything that he has around him. But I expect them to make the playoffs, and I also expect them to win a playoff game with J.J. McCarthy as their starting quarterback.
For me personally, Austin, I don't know if I need him to win a playoff game for me to look at the big picture and say that it was a successful year.
Right.
I think he's in a situation where, well, here's what I'm curious to see. Is he going to be asked to put the squad on his back in this offense? Because we watched him at Michigan. He had some games where he could pop off with his arm every now and then. He wasn't asked to do it. And sometimes I happen to think that could be a tough place to be as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's, hey, Blake Corum this, and you're Edwards and that throughout the whole game. And it's like, hey, in this critical third down, we need you to spin it. That may be a tough thing to do for quarterbacks. I don't know. But, man, you talk about the weaponry that's around him, who the head coach is. They bring up Donovan Jackson in the first round. They've got a really good offensive line. I think he is going to have a good year. I don't know if it's going to lead to 13, 14 wins the way they had it last year. But I can't wait to see, like, in those games to where it's Jared Goff on the other side, Jordan Love in your division twice a year. Can you go toe-to-toe with them and let it rip?
The crazy dynamic here, I think, at play for the Vikings is that J.J. McCarthy, when he is at his best, he is playing on the knife's edge. He is gambling. He is gunslinging. He is risk-taking. And, think about 2 years ago in that version of the game, he got away with it. And they were surprise plays. He got a little help from the officiating on the Denzel Burke would-be interception, and you had Malik Hartford just turn his head for a second. Like, those are throws that he makes because he has a high level of confidence in his athleticism, and he's not afraid to take chances. And everyone is talking about, well, they need J.J. McCarthy to be – he doesn't have to be Superman for the Vikings to be good. And you talk about the weaponry around him. Be a game manager. When I think about J.J. McCarthy at his best winning games, there's no game management involved in that. And so it's maybe a mentality switch for him. Can he dial that back? Can he throttle it down? Can he get in where he fits in with running that offense and not trying to do everything himself? I don't know. And the Vikings didn't have to find that out last year.
According to Vegas, over at Bet365, the Lions are the favorite to win the division at plus 135. Green Bay is at plus 260, and you have the Vikings at plus 403rd, followed by the Bears at plus 450. So pretty tight, that division, and why would it not be, according to Vegas right now on paper, based off of what we saw a year ago? He's got a coach that's going to scheme things open for him. Like Kevin O'Connell has earned that reputation at this point with the work that he's done with a lot of quarterbacks. They had to find out what he was this year. I don't think you could have ran it back. I mean, you could have run it back with Sam Darnold, but it wouldn't have made a lot of sense to me, especially if you were going to franchise tag him at $40 million. Then it's like, well, we have to play this guy, right? We're not going to sit Darnold on the sideline. But his skill set, like Harry Douglas talked about, kind of fits where the NFL is. He can hurt you with his legs. Is he Lamar or Josh Allen? I don't think so.
No.
But I think he can be in that second tier of quarterbacks where you're like, hey, we can give this guy 6 to 8 carries a game if we need to, and he can pick up some key first downs and maybe help us out in the red zone too. So that division, man, it should be a banger of a year in the NFC North. And we're talking about specifically with Green Bay, Minnesota, and Chicago. If they have hit on the quarterback position, which it looks like Green Bay has with Jordan Love, but with Minnesota and Chi-Town, they figured this thing out. We're going to be talking about 3 quarterbacks for a long time going at it. And, man, it's just I enjoy that style of football that they throw out there. But happy for Donovan Jackson, the versatility he showed last year.
It was a smart pick by Minnesota.
Man, really good pick, right? Because you got some vets that may play a little bit more than he does right now, but in time he's going to take over. So, look, Ohio State produced, 2 first-round offensive linemen last year. Josh Simmons, I mean, the pressure on him is crazy, right?
Okay. Hasn't played football in a while now, so.
And now you got to protect Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, no pressure there.
And go into a building to where they expect to be, at minimum, playing in the AFC Championship game. So
year after year after year.
Hopefully he gets healthy. Sounds like they're confident that he will be ready to go. in time. But yeah, a couple former Buckeye offensive linemen going to teams that are expecting to win at a high level. Coming up in 2 minutes, we will talk all things Major League Baseball with our guy Jensen Lewis when we throw some chin music right here on The Fan.
Scotty Vegas here. We all know that summer's the easiest season for weight loss. Warm weather, lighter meals, being outside. Our bodies are primed to succeed, and Awaken 180 has your game plan. Reach your goals this summer with Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of summer.
Central Ohio contractors and homeowners. Tired of overpriced, low-quality cabinets? Well, it's time to upgrade your cabinet game. 3D Cabinetry is your go-to for fast, hassle-free service and cabinets you can trust from order to install. 3D Cabinetry delivers fully assembled all-wood affordable cabinets. No delays, no stress. Just quality craftsmanship delivered on time every time. Get started with your free consultation today at 3dcabinetry.net. That's 3dcabinetry.net, where quality meets affordability and reliability.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Get your air conditioner ready to go for warmer temperatures ahead with Logan AC and Heat Services. Right now, service calls are just $79. Tune-ups are also $79. Talk to one of our service technicians about how you can improve your home comfort. Online scheduling is easy and takes just minutes. So visit our website and book your appointment now. Fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Hear that? That's the sound of freedom. This July, declare your independence on the open road during RCD RV's Declare Your Independence sale, running July 5th through the 19th, offering all-American savings on all in-stock motorhomes, fifth wheels, and travel trailers. Wave goodbye to ordinary vacations and say hello to adventure. Stop by any of our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com. Celebrate the red, white, and blue with unbeatable savings at RCD RV. RCD RV. Freedom starts on the open road.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Crowd the plate at your own risk. It's time for some chin music with former big leaguer and president of the Bald is Beautiful fan club, Jensen Lewis.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, welcome back into Rothman and Ice. We do it every week at this time. It's a different day, but it's the same time slot. It's our guy, Jensen Lewis, coming in to throw some chin music and talk all things Major League Baseball. J. Lou, happy holiday weekend, my man. How you doing?
Good, man. Happy red, white, and blue. 250 for 250, man. It's crazy to think. Here we are, but a lot of festivities. I'm sure a lot of hot dogs for you coming up here. But happy birthday, America. Let's do it.
I will be up in Cleveland for Scuba Day on Saturday. So
love it.
Looking forward to seeing him spin the rock against the Guardians. Look, Guardians struggling right now. Losers of, 6 games in a row, J-Lou, I believe, what it is at the moment. However, one of the bright spots for this team and what has been a bright spot for this team for years is Jose Ramirez. And Jose now named a starter for the 2025 All-Star Game. Man, just a Hall of Famer in the making, in my opinion, J-Lou, with what he has done so far throughout his career. And again, in 2025, the man just continues to ball out.
Yeah, single-handedly, Matty, has this team anywhere near a playoff spot, and that is a real endorsement of what he means not only to this franchise, as you talked about, but without him, where would they be? We talk MVP discussions all the time, and I think he is that epitome of if you take him away from the Cleveland Guardians, where in the world would this team be? But 7th year now for him in there. And again, the rightful starting third baseman. Kind of crazy to think, too, where the rest of the selections will be for the Guardians and how that rest of the American League roster will fill out.
So let's dig in a little bit, J-Lou, on this slide that they're on right now and why you think some of these struggles have really popped up for them here recently.
Honestly, it's pretty straightforward, Matty. They can't hit, and they really haven't been able to, on a consistent basis, basis for most of the year. Bottom third in all major offensive categories except for stolen bases. I mean, 29th in average, 27th in runs, 27th in OPS, 26th in on base. A far cry from where they were last year. And to be fair, I mean, this is what this front office did. It was their bed that they made. They're having to sleep in it now when you get rid of Josh Naylor and Andres Jimenez and really feel that all your chips are in the middle on a Kyle Manzardo and aging Carlos Santana and trying to get some young players to contribute. So the fact that they are, just 4 games under 500, I think is a miracle in its own right, knowing that the offense really hasn't given this pitching staff much support series in and series out.
Let's go down to Cincinnati and talk about the Reds. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to run down the Cubs for the division, but maybe they can mess around and find themselves in a wild card spot as we're talking right now. A game and a half back in the NL wild card race. When you look at where the Reds are, that roster, do you like where they're at as far as the team that they're competing with? Do you think they could clip the Giants, clip the Cardinals, chase those teams down in this wild card race?
Matty, I do. And again, a lot of this is going to be predicated on them closing out games that they have leads. I think you and I could probably go back to at least a half dozen opportunities early in the season, and even as of late, where they've had the late leads and not been able to get it across the finish line. Those are things that come back to bite you when, as you alluded to, it's just games separating some of these teams for playoff spots. So if you were to tell me at this point, with where they've kind of performed overall from a bullpen standpoint, that they are, a handful of games over 500 and just a game and a half or two outside of a playoff spot, you got to take it, man. But it is going to be a fight to the finish, thinking that as you begin play coming up this weekend, you really have, I think, upwards of 7-8 teams almost within about 3 to 4 games of each other. And that includes, the Mets and the Brewers occupying those top 2 wild card spots at the moment. So what a race we have in the senior circuit, not only for a couple of divisions, but also those wild card spots as well.
Let's stay in the NL, specifically the NL Central, and talk about the Chicago Cubbies. I mean, the addition of Kyle Tucker on paper in the offseason, what he was all about. But, J-Lo, just that lineup, man, especially those first handful of hitters that they roll out night in and night out. It's tough. And I know the Guardians just, have been experiencing that over in Wrigley the last few days. But just talk about that lineup, the addition of Tucker, and what that's done for them, because now they have the second best record in the National League.
Well, I mean, overall, too, if you were to tell me that your league leader in RBI potentially by the All-Star break would be Seiya Suzuki and not Kyle Tucker, I would say, okay, what's going on here? But at credit where it's due, you have as vaunted a 2-3-4 outside of maybe what the Dodgers roll out there in Tucker, Suzuki, and Pico Armstrong, who has played, like an MVP candidate. And statistically, Kyle Tucker probably a smidge better than PCA and just outpacing, say, a Suzuki as well. But that is the reason why you look at the Cubs as not only a viable team to get through the National League, but also to win a world championship. I think they have to address the rotation. Matthew Boyd, I think, has exceeded and then some the expectations coming over and signing the free agent deal. Danny Palencia in the back end just throws absolute noise. What a find for them, and a guy that they traded for, people don't realize, from Oakland back in July of 2021. So he has been a great find. They'll be very active at the trade deadline. Can they get a top-end rotation type like a Sandy Alcantara? It may be too expensive for them, but they are right there, prime position to be a factor in the National League bracket.
Clayton Kershaw, he makes some history last night, the 20th pitcher in the history of the league to reach 3,000 strikeouts. It's weird, J-Lo, because with the additions of Mookie and Freddie Freeman and Ohtani, the last few years, I feel like he kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. I know he's been injured and missed some time here and there, but the guy can still go out there and spin it. You know what it takes to succeed at the highest level. The career for Clayton Kershaw, where he is right now, just talk about that.
Yeah, now the 4th left-hander in Major League history to achieve the 3,000 strikeout milestone. And, for people that forget, Matty, this offseason, there was a potential he would not be a member of the Dodgers this year. And just knowing that the guys that they had brought in with the Blake Snell and the Roki Sasaki additions, Tyler Glass now just a year prior with Yoshi Yamamoto, from a number standpoint, with Shohei Ohtani rehabbing and eventually joining this rotation, was there going to be just a viable roster spot to say, yeah, you can be a part of this club? Well, all the injuries that have transpired, they're not depending on him to make the turn every fifth day. And that's kind of crazy to think where we are just a handful of months ago. But you're right, as storied and maybe the best starting pitcher that we've seen in the 2000s and beyond. I mean, you go back to 2001, it's probably Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Roy Halladay. I mean, you could probably throw in a handful of other names, but since 2001, hard to argue against Clayton Kershaw being the very best starting pitcher we've had in that timeline.
I know we've talked to you a few times throughout the season just about Detroit and what the Tigers have been able to do on their side of things and the tremendous record that they have. I think they have the most wins in the AL right now. But one guy I was really thinking about, J. Lou, was Riley Green. And does he get the respect that he deserves? Like, we know the superstars of the sport and Aaron Judge and Ohtani, but this guy, J. Lou, just seems like he's really growing into just an absolute monster for the Tigers.
No doubt. Top 20 position player overall in baseball this year, and a guy that will now get the national recognition going to the Midsummer Classic. A guy that was such a huge prospect for them, first rounder all the way back in 2019. If I remember, he's the 5th pick overall. And just to think that a year after that, it was Spencer Torkelson, who was the number 1 overall selection out of Arizona State. Those two guys as big a reason why Detroit's offense has been a top 5 offense all year. And shout out Gleyber Torres, change of scenery worked. And who had Javi Baez being voted in as an all-star starter on, their docket? I certainly didn't. But it has been the sum of the parts, Matty, offensively, that has transformed this club. And, oh, by the way, you had the defending Cy Young winner in the American League looking every bit as good as Tarek Skubal did last year. So they're a force to be reckoned with. They have some questions to answer at the bottom of their lineup, and they'll be active at the deadline as well.
We'll get you out of here on this one. Let's lock in a little bit on the Houston Astros and what they've been able to do to this point of the season. We know they've been a consistent model year in and year out, had all that crappy stuff that they were doing years ago with the cheating and all those things. But since then, J. Lou, it just seems like they still go out there and they're a consistent brand of baseball and they continue to dominate. And now here they are again with 50-plus wins at this point in the season. Just this lineup, the staff, the team as a whole, what's been impressive to you about the Houston Astros?
Matty, scary good considering no Alex Bregman, no Kyle Tucker, and basically no Yordan Alvarez all year. And here we are, about a week ahead of the Mariners in first place in the American League West. Scary good in the back of the bullpen. Maybe the best 1-2 combo so far this year in Josh Hader and Brian Abreu. And the same could be said for what Framber Valdez and Hunter Brown have done atop their rotation. They're probably a starter away and maybe another bat from being really, really scary good. But right now, what they've been able to accomplish and the star power that they no longer have on this roster just tells you what Joe Espada has gotten out of this group. And I think they have the chip on the shoulder. We're kind of that forgotten group in what has been a very wide-open American League thus far. They're as good as anybody in the junior circuit, and I think they'll be a presence in October.
It's good stuff. He's our guy, Jensen Lewis, does a tremendous job covering Major League Baseball. J. Lou, as always, man, we appreciate you, and we will talk to you next week.
Happy 4th, buddy. Great to be with you, and America, baby. Let's go.
See ya, J. Lou. Much love, brother. We'll talk to you next week. He was on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We will hit the finish line of the show next with Tell the Truth. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Did you know their co-founders are Ohio natives? Yeah. Window Nation has been replacing windows in the Columbus region for over 15 years. Not only does Window Nation know what windows work best for Ohio homeowners like you, they're also local to the area. And right now, you can take advantage of Window Nation's biggest sale of the year. Get 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. You heard that right. With Window Nation, you won't pay any interest until 2030. Plus, they'll install your new windows in 1 day or less, so you can get back to your daily routine right away. Personally, I wouldn't procrastinate. You don't want to wait on this deal. It's a trustworthy company like Window Nation, getting your windows in 1 day or less. 50% off all window styles now, plus 0 interest until 2030 with Window Nation. Call them up, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com to get your free quote on replacement windows. 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. And tell them T-Bone sent you.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Let's be honest, we could all use a little vacation from the ordinary. But with Tim Hortons' new refreshers, you don't need to pack your bags. Just sip, relax, and enjoy your refreshing 16-ounce vacation. With tropical mango packed with real pineapple and mango pieces. And strawberry watermelon kiwi featuring real pieces of strawberry and kiwi. Also, try it with lemonade or coconut milk. A choose-your-own taste bud adventure. Head to Tim's for the new refreshers. Your 16-ounce vacation awaits. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants.
Bishop and Friends. A producer of yours went south to bungee jump, and then it said it was the South or it could have been Africa. And yet the pushback is that you read and you're not an idiot.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Seller.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
The big one is back. The Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals presented by PPG. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 of the nation's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Don't miss Good Guys Autocross racing action, a tire-smoking burnout competition, a pro street takeover, earth-shaking nitro thunderfest. Meet the top builders in the industry and more. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Your neighborhood Kroger pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. See your Kroger pharmacy for details.
Got one of those days that never stops? Try a stop at Speedway and refresh the vibe with 69-cent large big gulp drinks. Get 69-cent large big gulp drinks at Speedway with Speedy Rewards. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 8/26/25. See app for full terms.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Get 50% off all window styles, plus no interest until 2030. Visit windownation.com now.
See, before we get out of here, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. You did not announce who our prize winner was, did you?
No, that was Rick in Johnstown.
Okay, there you go. Shout out to Rick. Thanks for listening. And have fun at the Cardale Jones softball game. I mean, it'll be Cardale Jones, Team Cardale versus Team Braxton Miller, A-Dub. So that'll be fun to see the old former Buckeyes and some of their old teammates and maybe even some current guys get out there and have some fun.
Yeah, it's been nice that they've been able to incorporate the current roster into that event and make that, obviously it's for charity. And there's so many, we say it all the time, there are great dudes on that Ohio State roster that they're not showing up for a paycheck themselves, that they want to be part of fundraising. And it's crazy to me now that we're 5-6 years into the NIL process where they were preventing players from raising money for charity just under the guise that they might be able to profit from that directly. It's crazy. And I'm so glad because you got this with the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer and BuckeyeCruise.com. You can get the tickets for the event there, the softball jam, whatever they're going to call it in the future. But just these guys that want to give back of their time and have a little fun too. And for fans to go out and see them in a different atmosphere is always a good time.
I agree. All right, TLC, what do you got cooking up over there, my guy?
First of all, I got a story about Cleveland.
I mean, I never heard anybody say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation.
Okay, real quick. You played that yesterday, and I ended up on this YouTube rabbit hole of Joakim Noah stuff. He did an interview, I think, last year with Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller, two former Heat players.
What's their podcast called?
The OGs.
Okay.
So they got some really good behind-the-scenes LeBron D-Wade stories if you're interested in that. He still hates Cleveland. This wasn't an in-the-moment thing. Like, he still is all in on beefing with the city of Cleveland. So that clip that you played, over 15 years ago from him?
2010 playoffs.
He's still got that same energy.
You like it? You think Cleveland's cool?
Maddie's going up there this weekend.
I am. I'm going to the land, baby. Checking out the Guardians. Maybe I'll be good luck for them because they need it.
They do need it.
Right now.
Well, we have some more information from Jeff Passan.
Okay.
Regarding Luis Ortiz. This is pretty new information. So the reason that Luis Ortiz is under investigation is because there is a betting integrity firm, which would be pretty good for players to know that those exist, that was reviewing some of the betting information that took place on whatever site this was. And there was some unusual gambling activity regarding 2 pitches.
Really?
Not games, not over-unders, not wins and losses. 2 pitches.
2 pitches?
There was unusual betting activity on the first pitch of the second inning on June 15th against the Mariners. The bettor chose that the pitch was going to be a ball, so not a strike.
Yeah.
And Luis Ortiz threw it way out of the zone. It happened again 12 days later on June 27th. Ortiz on the mound against the Cardinals. The first pitch of the third inning was bet to be a ball, and he threw it even further out of the zone than the first time.
Interesting.
So it appears that this could have been happening during the game.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if you can bet pre-game on third inning pitches.
I haven't seen that.
I know there are some sports books that do it like inning by, like you can bet on the first inning, and then once the first inning's done, you can bet on the second, just like go inning by inning.
Yeah.
But he may have been in communication with somebody. Look, it may not have been him. Maybe it was a buddy. Maybe it was a buddy who's like, hey, man, can you spare me one pitch and just get back in the count later?
That is wild.
So there's no evidence that he bet on it. There was just evidence that somebody out there
profited from it.
Was betting heavily on him throwing out of the zone, and he did way out of the strike zone.
That's wild. Let me throw this by you two, and you have to pick one. Would you want to live in a world to where players were actively betting on sports and were not allowed to, but how do I want to frame this? Yeah, let's go down that road. They were actively betting on sports, and you knew it as fans, or guys were on steroids in sports. Which world would you want to live in? The betting world, baby, or the steroids world?
Steroids, 100%.
Okay. TLC?
If basketball players are betting on games, they might actually care more, so I might actually say betting.
Okay. Just wanted to throw that crazy hypothetical at you guys.
I'm going out in Cleveland now. It's on factories.
But I'm just saying.
What else you got, TLC?
All right. We got to go back to my other tab here.
How many tabs you got open?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
Oh, my.
And I trimmed it down. It was at like 19.
Dude's over there grinding, man.
Yeah.
You don't stop.
WNBA expansion. So we talked about this earlier this week. We got Cleveland in 28. We got Detroit in 29 and Philadelphia in 2030. Should the WNBA be expanding to cities that already have NBA teams?
Yes, because I think the basketball support is already there.
Infrastructure.
Yes. Yeah. If you're going to a city where people are like, well, what is this? Then I don't know if it would succeed maybe right away, as I think some of these other cities will. I think the Cleveland women will get some support, man. People love their sports up there. It's a diehard sports fan town. And so I'm here for the expansion. I'm glad the game is growing. But I think absolutely, if you've got an NBA team already there, or I don't know, if there's a WNBA team that pops up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina one day, I think they would get support there. So, yeah, I'm in on that.
I think it's important that the WNBA capitalizes on the growth moment that they're enjoying.
Yeah.
The risk is, do you have enough quality players to sustain that into 28, 29, 30? I'm talking about the roster size and the roster quality. Part of what makes the WNBA as successful as it has become recently, it's that almost every game is going to be super competitive. You're not spreading around to 30 rosters, 31 rosters, the way the NBA is, and you go into a season and you know these teams are not making the playoffs. They have no shot. That's not really the way that the WNBA operates. So I'm not trying to throw any cold water on it. I hope that they succeed. It's better for the sports landscape when you have more opportunities and more options to watch and maybe gamble on, if that's what you want to do. But I do think that there is a risk there of oversaturating markets and then undersaturating rosters.
You got to have names that are going to bring the city out, right? People got to get off their couch and want to spend money to come see the product. I'm fully with you on that.
But I have to step aside from WNBA betting.
Shout out to AR.
Let's play them all.
I'm floating pretty good. The pills are fine. He wasn't long and wrong. He was long and mostly right.
What was
Get the hell out of here.
What's the one you had from yesterday?
Oh, I had one from yesterday.
It was like early in the show. AR said something.
Oh, you know what? We do have one from yesterday. And all I got to do is just drag it over here and play it.
I might be on pills. You don't know.
Actually,
he's not here today.
Who knows what he does in his free time? That's his business.
Let's tell the truth for today. Good stuff, TLC.
Can I play an Aaron Rodgers one just for fun?
Please do.
Would you ever consider playing for the Saints?
No. If you miss anything from our show, don't worry. You can always catch up wherever you get your podcast. All you have to do is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the Rothman and Ice podcast as well. Austin, appreciate you coming in, man.
It was great to be here. Fun way to kick off this holiday weekend.
TLC, great job on the board. Folks, we love you. Stay safe out there. Have fun this weekend. We will be back at Monday at high noon to talk about everything in the world of sports. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Oh, 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, it's Anthony. I actually enjoy the off-season. Gives me a chance to be really active, travel, be on the move. But when my back started giving me pain, I wasn't going to just deal with it this time. I went to the Good Feet store. Their personally fit arch supports got my feet into their ideal alignment, and I could already feel the difference in my back immediately. And they educated me. I had no clue we actually have several arches under our feet, and those cushy over-the-counter insoles were not going to do the trick. So many people suffering with pain can benefit from their system. People with pain in their feet, ankles, lower legs, knees, hips, and more. I've been wearing my personally fit arch supports for a while now, and they've given me the motivation and confidence to be as active as I want to be. The Good Feet store thrives on being solution-oriented. Go in. The fitting is free. They want you to try them in the store and feel them for yourself. So get back to living the life you love with the Good Feet store. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City and on Polaris Parkway. Or check them out at goodfeet.com.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I've gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks, trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
This week, Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame moment takes a look at the club's move to a new ballpark on June 30th, 1970. After 86 years of playing ball at ballparks at Findlay and Western Avenues in the west end of Cincinnati, the Reds would move into a new home on the banks of the Ohio River.
Cincinnati Reds baseball tonight from Cincinnati's Riverfront Stadium. The game between the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. Here's Ed Kennedy and Pee Wee Reed.
Well, this is the night we've been looking forward to for so long to share with you, and we think that you feel the same way about being a part of this opening night here at the grand and brand new Riverfront Stadium here in Cincinnati. For the Cincinnati Reds, the man who pitched the last game in Crosby Field, who pitched the first game in Riverfront Stadium, that's Jim McLaughlin. All right, the Reds on the best. If you want to take a look at that, is about as you would expect. Bernie Carbo in left field, Bobby Cole in the center, and Pete Rose in right. At first base, Lee May. At second base, Tommy Helms. The shortstop is Woody Woodward, and Tony Perez is the third. Jim McLaughlin is the pitcher, and Johnny Bench is the catcher.
The Braves would come out on top on that hot, humid Cincinnati summer night. The Reds would have to wait till the following night, July 1st, to post their first win at Riverfront, beating the Braves 9-2. The Hall of Fame moment is brought to you by Western and Southern Financial Group. With their financial strength behind you, visit westernsouthern.com.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still,